Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back once again to Wheel Takes, a podcast about the Wheel of Time, a series of fantasy novels by Robert Jordan and also Brandon Sanderson at the end there. I'm Gus. I've read all of them.
I'm Allie, and I am a first-time reader on book 8 for now. We're almost done.
Well, you are done.
I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done with book 8.
Done.
I finished today.
Yeah.
Woo!
We're done with book 8. This is going to be a finale. It's probably going to be 2 parts. Because, stuff happens at the end, and we don't want to stop, and it's fun.
Yeah, there's a point where I can't stop, y'all. I can't stop it. You try it. I'm a little sick today, so if I say anything weird, no, I didn't. I got food poisoning.
Yeah, yes.
I'm pretty sick.
Not fun.
It's okay. I have a great nurse.
Oh, I tried to talk you out of recording while you were sick.
You did.
But you insisted.
Because it's fun.
It is
Here's
fun.
Here's the thing. Like, a lot of people are like, the podcast is so much work. And it is. It is a lot of work. But, like, the recording part...
It's nice.
It's so nice. Because it's
really
just
fun.
Me having a conversation with my husband.
Yeah.
For, like, hours and hours and hours. Like, how lovely is that? We get to talk about books.
Someone did...
And people listen to it. It's so nice.
Someone did the math. I think we're up to, like, 400-something hours of content, which is really bizarre to think about.
Well, I just think it goes to show that the two of us are chatty Cathys.
That is true. But yeah, we're done with book 8. We're probably not going to talk about all of it today.
But we might reference things that happen later.
Yes.
So if you haven't finished book 8, go finish it and then come back and talk to us about it.
This podcast only contains spoilers for what Allie has already read. And again, that's everything up to and including the end of book 8, The Path of Daggers. Allie, getting into this, overall impressions, book 8.
Overall impressions of book 8.
Looking back. By the way, it's raining right now because it has been raining here in California for quite some time. So if you hear that, you are blessed.
We're coming at you from the rainforest, apparently.
Yes.
It's been raining nonstop. Gus.
Yeah.
Where did we leave off?
What did you think of book 8?
Oh,
Overall impressions. What'd you think?
I was trying to turn things around on you. Overall impressions, you know what? The first part was slow. I think I made that clear. But the second half slapped. I feel like I say this about each book. Am I wrong? Most of the books.
I think
I go like, first half was slow, second half slapped.
But consider that the first half had the bowl.
That was also awesome. And Egwene becoming... No, that was
in the
last
middle.
book. Becoming Amerlin.
That was in 6.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep track, isn't it?
Egwene's... Yeah, it's starting to become hard. Egwene becoming the martial law overlord.
Yes.
Happened, which was dope. But that was the second half.
Yeah. Perrin walked around.
Perrin walked his darndest.
He sure did.
He walked like
the whole battle with the Shan-Chan.
That was
No. Elayne and
that was dope.
Yeah.
That was really dope. I feel like that's going to be way more of a moment in the show. I feel like because it happened so early in the books, people forget about it.
It's just awkward play. I mean, here's the thing about book 8. I think the first 200 pages-ish are the end of book 7.
I don't know.
I think
I could see it.
Jordan decided that he needed to end book 7 with Rand doing a thing, right? Because all the books so far have ended with Rand doing a thing.
Yeah. And this one is no exception.
This one is no exception. Although we've already...
Well,
he does more things.
It's more people doing a thing to Rand.
But it's also the battle in...
Oh, yeah.
in Altara.
The whole Kalendor fiasco. Yeah. This one feels the most like Robert Jordan was like, war is bad.
War sucks.
In case you thought it was good. Like he heard the reception to the last book and was like, that was not what I wanted you to walk away with. And he was like, so I'm going to just double down.
Yeah. Could be.
So that you really know what I'm trying to say.
I'd buy it.
And yet some people are like, what war drama? This is just a book about a magic boy.
This is fun. It's purely entertainment.
I mean, it is fun. And it's pure. This is the thing that I like about genre, right? Like you can sneak your messages in and like the people who are just there for the pew-pews will get the pew-pews, and the people who like are ready to absorb the message will absorb the message. And there's no like soapbox screaming. It's just like, here it is. Take it if you will. And I just really like that about genre, is you can really sneak in some really interesting messages for people.
It's fun. You can. That's the thing. What I like about Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh my God.
Which just won like 7 Academy Awards, which is totally deserved.
Fucking love that movie. And I fucking love all of those actors at this point. Like all of their interviews, just, you know, every now and then you get to work on a project where just the people are all so lovely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just such a magical experience. And it doesn't happen that often where you like work on something and you're like, this feels...
Everything gelled.
Yeah, this feels like it's something special.
Yeah.
Right? And they got to do that. And that was amazing. And it was rewarded. And I love that.
Admittedly, we don't know for sure that everyone gelled. We weren't there. But it sure seems like it based on them hanging out together.
I mean, they just... Stephanie Sue was just such a mood the entire evening.
Yeah.
Like, she just was sobbing
crying
the whole
entire time.
And so was I.
Yeah.
I was a mess the whole evening every time they won something. I was just a mess because movies like that, it's so hard for them to get made. It really is. It's really, like, you could tell that was really a labor of love. And, like, it's such a weird fucking movie in a good way, you know? And it's one of those movies where I left feeling like I understood something essential about life afterward.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't feel like that happens to me very often.
No, I get that.
You know, it's a special movie to me, you know?
I loved it.
I loved it.
As well.
And those actors just all seem so darling.
And I really like Book 8. It's, I have told you it was one of my favorites.
I did like it.
Top 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think it's up there for me. I think Battle of the Two Rivers has my heart so far.
Book 4 is probably my favorite.
I think just it was such a lovely, lovely book. I don't know. I don't know why I'm crying.
Because this is a journey you're going on and you have food poisoning.
I do. I'm really sick.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to talk about the books because I was excited and I wanted to talk about them.
Yeah.
But and everything's spinning a little, but no, but it's good. Like, I love these characters so much, and some of them do such stupid things. And I just want them to not do such stupid things, but I know they have to. I know it's the journey. They can't get to where they're gonna be. There's 15 books. They've got to make a lot of mistakes, and they're only 20 years old. But, I can't wait to talk about it. Let's talk about it. Where did we leave off?
Yes, where did we leave off, Allie?
I was asking you. Where did we leave off?
The whole Logain thing that we're not going to get back into.
Oh.
Logain dropped in the power rankings.
Hello. This is a very special Wheel Takes episode. And now for a very special Wheel Takes episode.
So that's where we were.
Rand gets his period. What?
Cool.
That's always the special episode
of the old sitcom.
It's like the girl gets her period or something, but they never can talk about it openly. It's just like, oh, you know what's going on.
Something is happening,
or like they experience peer pressure for the first time.
Yeah,
it's like, you want to smoke this joint, and I'm like, I really thought that people would be offering me free drugs. I really
they made
walked around in life going, I gotta ward off the people offering me free drugs.
Keep my eyes open here. We move on from all that into chapter 27, Allie, which is called The Bargain.
The Bargain.
There's your logo. What you got?
All right, so hold on. I gotta get my notes out. Oh, here it is. I already got them out.
She's done it.
My phone just slept.
Oh, speaking of she's done it. Before we get any further, Allie does, as you may recall, bingo sheet of predictions for every book. Someone suggested that we do this, and now we do.
And it's so fun. And whoever did it, pat yourself on the back. We love you.
And the idea being that if Allie gets a bingo row, she gets to cheer, and then at some point we do a mug giveaway. Because did you know we have Frosty mugs?
We do.
We do. Oh, we'll figure that out.
Yes. But do I get something too?
We talked about this and we couldn't determine what, but yes, we'll figure it out. You'll get something fun.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
I just think you
it's
should
not like
get
I have a lot of control over
I just think you should
that,
get
but
me
I will
a
get you something
present.
fun. Of course I will.
I just think I should get a present.
Of course you should.
Okay.
And so you
So
shall.
figure out what kind of present you want to give me. I don't care, but some kind of present.
So all through this book, we were the squares are getting checked. This is online. This is on our Twitter if you want to see this, and I'll link to it.
What if I got a tiny trophy?
Oh, I love that
Get
idea.
me a tiny
I'll get you a tiny trophy.
I want a tiny trophy.
What were you waiting for? What were you hoping would happen at the end of this book?
Fael getting kidnapped.
Fael getting kidnapped. Because last episode, we got 2 more bingo squares. Black Tower Rebellion and Aes Sedai Attack
and
the
I was
Black
like,
Tower.
oh, fuck, I'm actually really close to a bingo. All Fael has to do is get herself kidnapped.
Which left you with 10 squares checked.
Yeah, and I felt like Perrin didn't really have a plot anymore. So I was like, well, and then I started to doubt myself because I was like, oh no, but what if Massima is the plot? And then I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I also have always said that I think that each of the boys is going to lose something big. Matt's going to lose an eye, Rand's going to lose a hand, and Perrin will lose his wife. And at first I thought that was going to be death, but then they killed Layla on the show, and I was like, they're not going to have him have 2 wives die. That's too much. That's overkill, literally. So then I was like, okay, well, his first wife dying would certainly up the stakes of his second wife getting kidnapped.
It
for
would.
Sure.
He would be even more desperate to protect her.
Mm-hmm. Because he's like, I've already lost one wife. I know how that feels. I'm not going to do it again.
Very, The Last of Us energy. Yes.
I know.
Without too many spoilers for that show, which we are going to talk about now. I know we've been saying that for 3 months.
We are going to talk about it.
But now that the show has concluded...
We're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think we should keep some of the, we started the first episode, and I think we should keep some of the, stuff that I had predicted.
We'll get it sorted. We'll get it figured out.
We'll get it sorted. We'll
look
figure
forward
it
to that someday.
One day.
Soon, I hope. Maybe.
We are very busy people, but we will do it.
But the column, you filled a column, the column being the Aes Sedai attack the Black Tower and get bodied.
Yes.
Elayne and Nynaeve use the Bowl of the Winds.
Yep.
Fael is kidnapped at the 11th hour.
At the very last second. It was thrilling.
Massima commits war crimes, and Sheriam confirmed Black Aja or is working for them or something like that. But good enough. Originally it said Sheriam confirmed Black Aja, and then when she got
I feel like she
stripped
has
naked
been.
and beaten with the power in a punishing way, I said, okay, it's gotta be a malevolent channeler, and she seems to be enthralled to them somehow, so we're just gonna say that's a win.
But you can be Black Aja and be enthralled to somebody.
Yes, you can, but I'm also
what's
saying...
her face and Erengar.
I'm also saying you can be strong-armed into doing something bad without yourself necessarily being bad.
Oh, that reminds me, Sheriam. I have to think about where her plotline's going, because I got to make my next bingo card.
Indeed, we will have to
What
address
is
that
something bad that she's going to do
as we get towards Winter's heart.
But also, she's going to do something wonderful, because Min had that viewing of her.
The viewing was just was flaring silver light around her head, flaring golden light around her head.
Yeah, but that was very similar to Loghain's, and Loghain's meant that he was going to do something wonderful.
It was similar. It was great glory to come because it was a halo.
Yeah.
But Min doesn't know the meaning of this one. The Loghain one, she looked at it and went, he's going to have great glory. And when they were worried he was going to die by his own hand, they were like, Min was like, he could literally fall off a cliff right now, and I'd be like, he's fine. I'm not worried. Mm-hmm. He's going to be fine. He's going to come out of this okay.
Well, I don't think Sheriam's going to come out of this okay.
Remains to be seen.
But I think she's a triple agent.
Do ya now? Mm-hmm. I feel like I've heard this before.
You have. Triple Agent Sheriam. I have more theories now that this book is over. So buckle up, kiddos. Put those seatbelts on. I'm taking you on a journey to hear my theories.
Yeah, that's what the podcast
Well done.
is.
Well said, Allie. Well executed.
Let's press on. Chapter 27, The Bargain. And you do have notes. I know you just pulled them up.
I do. Oh, fuck. My phone went dark again. Hold on. All right. Here are my notes. Gus and I were talking this week and realized that the tone of our podcast is wholesome swearing.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Uh-oh. I'm really nervous about us seeing Min. Like, this would be the perfect time for the golem to attack.
You really wanted that to happen.
I wanted more bingo. I wanted more bingo squares. Because I got other things, too.
Well, and you were probably expecting the golem to do something else this book.
Yeah.
Right?
If you want to see my bingo squares,
it's on Twitter.
Posted
Yeah,
on Twitter.
I'll link it below. I
wanted the golem to do something else.
Well, considering they were an ominous figure at the top of the book.
Oh my God. What the fuck? They didn't do anything.
It did nothing.
They did not a single goddamn thing.
It looked and brooded.
Well, a lot of them looked and brooded.
Yes.
Moradin looked and brooded. Sindane and Magedian looked and brooded. Mazrim Taim looked and brooded. Wiramon even looked and brooded.
Yeah.
The Weimaraner himself looked and brooded.
Do you want to really quick?
Who else looked and brooded? This book was, people are going to do stuff, ominously.
And some of them did.
And then some of them did.
I mean, Varen's thing seems to have borne fruit, right?
Yeah, Varen's thing, whatever the fuck it is that she's trying to do, it does not seem malevolent anymore because Min has all these like really nice viewings of all these Aes Sedai.
So all of them will serve you in her own way.
Mm-hmm.
And
They're
what
gonna
about
do nice things?
What about the border? Remember the Borderlanders? That's how we started off. Did anything come of that?
No, not
Literally
a fucking
nothing.
thing. Which is why I put them in the bingo sheet because I feel like that's got to pay off at some point.
If they didn't show up now,
they got to show up next.
They'll
book.
show up next book.
Well, because I feel like Robert Jordan's like they've got to travel.
He really does like to do that.
He loves to travel.
You know who else loves to travel?
I can't even talk about it.
You know who loves to go on a big old walk?
I know you're going to even say, and I'm so fucking mad. Nope. I don't even want to hear his fucking name in this podcast.
Seema.
I am so mad. I am so goddamn pissed.
Why?
All we had to do was walk through a little waygate and we would have been there.
Yeah?
But this motherfucker, I would have just opened the waygate and pushed him through it.
Yeah?
What's he gonna do?
I don't know.
The Dragon Reborn summoned you. Get your fucking stupid wussy ass through the waygate.
Yeah.
Gateway. Whatever the fuck. I would have been like, oh, open a waygate. Cool. Push his ass right through it. What's he gonna do? I'm Perrin Ibarra.
Froth.
If you kill me, the dragon is gonna set you on fire.
At least.
At least. But first he'll feed you your own fucking tongue.
Yes.
Right? And Perrin Ibarra of the Two Rivers.
Yes.
I'm the Dragon Reborn's childhood friend. Fuck off. Okay. So, but Min's sitting there reading Herod Fell's writings. And I was like, what happened to the last guy who was Herod Fell? He fucking died.
He died hard.
Okay. So I said, this would be the perfect time for the golem to attack.
It would.
They've attacked book nerds before.
They have.
Never read ever.
That's advice.
That is advice that I have. What are you doing?
I'm trying to see how long we've been recording without getting up, so I know when to break for an ad.
Looks like 20 minutes.
Yeah. I have picked up my phone and zoomed in on the computer screen as far as I can.
That's peak laziness, and
I'm
love
not getting
it
up.
from you.
It's over there. All right. Go on.
We know you're in Rand's rooms, girl. She's like, I'm in Rand's rooms. We're like, we know.
Right?
The whole court knows.
This was such a horny chapter.
It was. And
like in a good way.
It was a hot chapter. It was hot. But you know what? I gotta be honest.
It was
I kind of got
was good.
I kind of got Rand in that moment.
This was a good one.
I kind of got Min in that moment. I was like, yeah, you two are good looking. You two are making out.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. And then the Cockblock Brigade came in.
Time and again.
I'm like, the one time Robert Jordan gives us anything, these Cockblock, and it wasn't just one. It was three waves. There's 3 waves of feminism. There were 3 waves of Cockblock Brigades just coming in and interrupting my good time. It was rude. So anyway, now they're all on a list. And I hope bad things happen to them because I really wanted a horny chapter. I was like, after everything, I deserve a horny chapter. But no, it was not to be. They'll have to fuck on their own time.
Mm.
Oh, she's looking at Hardfell's shit.
Hardfell.
I auto-corrected. It's a really valid name of referring to the autocorrect. Because he fell hard.
He was turned into a pile.
One of the worst deaths, I think.
A pile of bits.
Oh, so like also the golem totally killed him, right? Like, and so the golem totally killed that other guy. I think we've talked about this.
We have, yeah. The what's his name?
Ooh, what's his name? Ooh, what is his fucking name?
We always
forget. Oh my god, I'm so sick. Ooh, what's his name?
It was either Barthanes.
Oh.
Yeah.
We came at it at the same time.
Who's in the show and is hot.
Is he now?
Yeah, not to talk about the actors.
Show me a picture right now.
I'll show you in a minute.
Okay.
I don't remember his name.
Everybody
in the show is
Rand
hot, so.
Sending letters to
Min. He sent Min 2 brief letters, and it was like
to Min. But it was giving me from the notebook, I wrote you every day for a year.
Yeah.
But he actually just sent 2 letters.
Because as I recall, they were basically texts. It was took Elayne, all good, and then going to Altara,
hitting up Taco Bell on the way home.
Defrost the chicken.
You want something? Like that's spouse letters.
Yeah.
That's spouse text. It's like hitting up Jamba on the way home.
Yeah.
You want something?
Smoothie? Question mark?
Smoothie? I always want a fucking smoothie.
Don't we all?
I love smoothies. My God. They're so good. And for what? Like, it's proof that if there's a God, he loves us. Because we have smoothies.
Because you can blend up fruit and vegetables.
What's to hate about a blended fruit? Okay. Rand wrote 2 letters. Elayne is screaming.
Indeed.
Okay, so why did we ruin the kind of sexy moment with someone walking in on Min bathing? Like, Robert, can I live?
know. And
I live, Robert? He was like...
That one bit.
He was like, okay, you know that kid that I murdered a couple chapters ago? Well, he's also a pervert. Anyway, so...
Oh, Rob.
Anyway.
Jimmy boy.
Get it together. Okay. Welcome to another special episode of Wheel Takes. Just kidding. About Min in the bath.
Yeah.
Anyway, Gus said, Rand, I killed one of my men. Min, nice. Wanna fuck?
That's basically... Because she was like, oh, he's so stressed. I need to get him naked and inside of me this second.
I mean...
It worked last time.
You know what?
To each their own.
Whatever keeps him this side of sane, I guess.
If she's into it,
and if it's fun for her,
if she's into it and he's into it, cool.
Who am I? Listen, the woman likes to read and she likes to fuck. What's wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with that.
As if many of you are not different from that. All right, that's what the Grinwell Cup is for. But I also love how it's become so welcomed by the ace community as well.
That's my favorite thing
really
about it.
It's like so kind and
sweet. Because it's easy to assume it's just like, who do you want to bone? But it's not.
Because truly, we wanted to create... This is why I love the Grinwell Cup. You know, like, we wanted to create something that was inclusive of people. Like, to showcase, like, yeah, just because someone's not canonically the hottest character does not mean that there are not people who are attracted to them. Like, there's a lid for every pot. And I also love that it's become inclusive in that, like, it's like, hey, you know, whatever your sexuality, your whatever, you just come and vote on this silly little poll. And I don't know. It's like become my Super Bowl. I love it so. Okay. Now let's see. Rand invited the assassins into his fucking palace.
Yeah, he did.
Rand's on my list now. My list of chuckle fucks I want to punt into next week. I'm honestly convinced he's trying to die at this point.
I mean...
Is it just because he doesn't take women seriously? Like, what is it? He's I don't know. The little women can't assassinate me with their little knives. Their wrists will break. He's doing it
politically, and he's like, what are they gonna do? I'm surrounded by Aiel and Ashaman.
I mean, I guess, but like, I don't know. It just seems like a bad idea. I don't know. Darlin and Caraline are Cadsuane's prisoners. I feel like I have 2 dolls now, and I'm like, now kiss.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, they're going to get married eventually.
Too good for everyone.
She is.
But Darlin seems like a good dude.
His name is Darlin.
I know. How could he be bad?
And we know he's going to be a king of something.
Darlin's going to be king of Elayne. He said Ileon's never had a king. And I was like, that's going to be...
Rand is king of Elayne.
For now. He can't be king of everything.
Tyr has never had a king.
Oh, that's what I meant. You know what? That's the one I meant.
They're going to make Darlin king of Tyr.
They need a king. They got to get shit together.
All right.
Because, like, everyone's groping maids and shit. Someone's got to put a stop to it.
Yes, that's key.
Someone's got to crack down on this shit. And Rand can't do everything. And the Tyrants don't want to be led by someone who's not Tyrant. And there's a part of me that gets that. You know? Here's the thing. Rand is not of their culture, right?
Yeah, well, Rand knows next to nothing about
Rand
Tyr.
basically came in and colonized Tyr.
He got the 8-minute how-to from...
Right? He's like, he comes in, he colonizes Tyr, and he's like, I know your problems.
Well, he just takes the castle, and then everybody's like, guess you're in charge.
Yeah, but then he like issues some edicts, and then he vanishes.
And starts hanging people.
Which will not endear
jams
him.
a sword into the middle of the hall of the palace, and then he leaves.
Yeah. And you know, I don't know how effective that was in winning them over. I do agree with why he hung the people he hung. Hanged the people he hanged?
It is actually hanged, which is
I always get that
grammatically
so confused.
upsetting.
But I understand why he hanged the people he hanged, right? But I think that a lot of the time with tricky cultures like the Tyrants, you know, where it's like it's a complicated group because they've got a lot of like history and subtext and like cultural references and things like that Rand's just not going to get because he's not from there.
Yeah.
I feel like they will take to having someone, and also Rand can't do frickin' everything. He can't rule 400 like countries or whatever.
Well, he needs a series of
like kingdoms.
Nations.
Yes. He needs like vassal lords.
He needs seneschals.
Is that
the right term, seneschal?
I have no idea. You've played so many of those
Crusader
like,
King,
Crusader,
Paradox games, yeah.
So that's why you come up with words like seneschals, and I'm like, I've never heard that word ever in my life.
Well, because he left Elayne in charge of Caraline when he spent 5 and 6 kind of jumping around Camelin and Caraline, and then he fucked off. For quite a while, he left Elayne in charge of Caraline, then he came back, and then he was sitting on Caraline, but nobody's actually in charge of Caraline or Andor. He's just like, everyone listen to me for now until I can hand these thrones to Elayne. And then he jumped and became the actual king of Ilion. Mm-hmm. So now he's actually in charge of that country.
Yeah.
But in doing that,
he's shafted Tyr.
It's very much like...
And now he's ruling. They're like rival. They're like rival nations.
Yeah,
you know, that'd be like, I don't know, someone coming into California, and they're like, all right, I'm in charge of LA and San Francisco, Giants fans and Dodgers fans. Y'all have to get along. Like, no, there's the subtext. There's culture. There's very big regional differences. Like, you can't just treat us all the same.
Yep. I have my favorite thing, though, is that he takes Ilion over, and the High Lords are like, the people love you. And he's like, they do? And they go, yeah, you remember you sent, like, all that grain? And he went, I did? Oh, yeah, I guess it, all right. Fuck yeah, grain.
Fuck yeah, grain. Yeah, I mean, I just think that will go over well politically.
Before we continue with the notes, I think it's been about enough time, so we're going to take a quick break for a couple of ads. Welcome back. If you got an ad for bread, hit us up. By the way, a few people let me know that ads for beer and religious apps are still getting through. They're not supposed to.
No, we specifically blocked all of that. You should be getting ads for like...
I got like Home Depot and Ralph's.
Yeah. Oh, what did I get?
When you were in Germany, you got all these ads in German.
That was wild. I had no idea what they were saying, but it was weirdly comforting. It felt like I was really immersed in the culture. Because I was listening to Will Takes episodes because I missed you, and I was listening to your voice. It was like really lame, but
You want to know something?
What?
I also was doing that.
No, you were not.
I was.
Wait, that's so disgusting. Yes. I love us.
Everybody is puking.
Forever. So,
ads.
Anyway, ads. But I got one. Oh, I got
O'Reilly's
Auto Parts.
The anthem of the Midwest.
So excited.
Yeah.
I felt like I really felt like a celebrity in that moment.
That's
I'm
serious
not
business
at all, but for some reason I was like, oh my God, we've hit it. We've hit the pinnacle of what we can accomplish. O'Reilly's is advertising on our podcast, which I know is so silly, but it was really exciting. Anyway, Min spilled wine on her outfit, and that is relatable as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wear white. I can't. My sister-in-law, who's darling, I love her. She always gives me these like wonderful comfy clothes because she sells clothes. And so she always gets me for Christmas these like lovely clothes. But she got me this little white, like white and purple
pajama set.
It's
or
not,
like
but
jogger,
it's like a
really.
jogger set. Yeah. It's like a lounge set. And I love it. And it's so comfortable. But I spill things on it all the time. And now it's like stained all over the place.
It is.
It's
and I
so
support
embarrassing. Right now I have, because I'm sick and I'm in it, I have like, love to eat freeze-dried strawberries, and there's just like freeze-dried strawberry dust all over it, and it's gross. Anyway, so I'm all dusty. Okay. Oh ho ho! So Darlin will be a king, will he?
Yes.
I am right again, Luz Theron. Okay. Gus said, if Caraline were my wife, I'd die in bed too. His man goes, Darlin's going to die in bed and Caraline will survive him. And that's what Gus said. And I was like, you're right.
Same.
Hard same. Rand is all, so Darlin and Caraline will live to plague me or some shit. And I'm like, have you forgotten the assassin ladies? These are a bigger problem. Mm-hmm. Darlin and Caraline have not done shit to you at this point.
Darlin and Caraline were really chill last time you saw them. They were so
cool. And if you thought they were that bad, why didn't you bring them with you into the slaughter battle?
I know.
Oh yeah, women aren't real. I've gotten to a point where I want a woman to stab Rand just a little bit. Just a little bit so that he actually takes them seriously.
Well, and
like
then
just a little bit.
You kind of got that in this chapter.
Did I?
The Aiel beat the shit out of him.
Oh yeah, that was really satisfying.
Yeah. Kind of pointless, but really
Here's the thing.
Quite funny.
The books have me like okay, this is what's bad. At this point, I feel like the podcast has changed me, maybe in a bad way, because I was actively rooting for Rand to get stabbed just a little. Then I was really excited that he got beaten by the maidens. And then there was somebody later, Jacob Carradine, where they drowned him in brandy, and I was like, good.
Jacob Carradine, who accomplished nothing in his entire Wheel of Time career.
When it comes to like the real world, I am like the biggest pacifist you're ever gonna find. Like I make Gus take spiders outside because I feel bad because they were here first, and like we kind of came into their house space.
Yeah.
And like, also it's raining and they chose to come into our house for shelter. And we're going to murder them for it. Like, I just feel like that's so shitty. So I make Gus take them outside. So like, that's the kind of person I am outwardly. But inwardly in fiction, I'm like, fucking murder him. Pour molten gold on his head. Do it. Girl boss. Slay queen. Like that's... That's how I am. But like, I think that fiction just brings out my inner aggressions that I don't like take that out on other people. Does this make sense?
It's a healthy expression. If it's not real, it's fine to want Rand to get the shit kicked out of him.
I really did. The sea folk are here. Who gives a fuck? Not Robert Jordan. They're like, you're not leaving us alone again, you fucking fuck.
Yeah, I know.
Is Cadsuane gonna... and then he proceeds to leave them alone again.
They weren't even there. They just sent the two Aes Sedai with the completed bargain, and Rand was like, that bargain sucks. And Marana was like, well, you left.
Yeah, you left, fucker. You know what? Maybe you could check back in every now and then.
Yeah.
Is Cadsuane gonna teach Rand that he has to kill women? Or that he needs to be a fucking person? That would be cool.
That would be useful.
Aw, but that's cute though. Like, Rand kept like, she kept being like, you suck. And he was like, and he kept, but like clearly missed him, like in a way that was like obvious. And he kept like kissing her, and it was cute.
It was they are cute at this point.
Cute. I understand why Min can feel controversial to people, but like, okay. Strip all that shit away for a second. How cute are they, though?
They're pretty fucking
They're
cute.
so cute. They're little babies that just want to make out and fuck, and it's great. They're doing what 20-year-olds should be doing.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like little puppy love. It's cute. Okay, but also this is kind of sexy.
It was.
It was kind of sexy. And then I was like,
it
no! You fucking maidens either join the party or get the hell out! Okay, but I'm kind of pro beating Rand. The Wheel of Time has really changed me. I have a foam finger on. Now stab him just a little. Show him you're serious. Make him take women seriously.
I appreciate that through all of this, they go very far out of their way to make sure they don't hit him anywhere near his side wounds. Because they want this to be...
I thought you were going to say his balls.
They probably need him in the balls once or twice.
I don't like using that against men unless they really deserve it.
Yeah.
I would
Look, we don't know. All we know is they didn't go for the side
Well,
wound.
I just, you know what? This is just my thing. I'm like, I have seen women, mostly it was like middle school, like kick guys in the balls for as a joke. And I don't think that's funny. That's assault. So I'm like, unless shit's going down, leave the balls alone. Okay. Next we'll use straps is what they said. And Gus just turns to me and goes, promise? So I wrote that down. And I went, oh my God, it's another cock block brigade. The arm holding her was hard as a rock. And then Gus turns to me because I'm not funny when I'm sick. I was legitimately
on a roll.
like, ugh.
I don't know.
And Gus took up the mantle. Gus was like, hey, honey.
I know you're not feeling the
I know
jokes.
you're not feeling good. I'm gonna do it for you. And you know what? Thank you. Thank you. That was really helpful.
Happy to help.
Is that the only thing? So, okay, he goes, the arm holding her was as hard as a rock. And Gus turns to me and goes, is that the only thing that's hard as a rock? Incredible. I sensed some slut shaming from the Aes Sedai. She comes in, she's like, whatever you two are doing. And like, is all kind of interesting to men, the Aes Sedai. So I said, side Aes Sedai.
That's good.
Thank you. I don't know if I've done that before.
You may have, you may not have. It's good, whatever.
It's good either way. His wounds pulsed, and then Gus turns to me and goes, that's not the only thing that's pulsing. Gus was on a fucking
I was having a lot of fun. You took a lot of notes.
Yes, I'm almost done.
No, I'm thrilled.
These women are trying to kill you, and I beg you to take it seriously. Ah! Okay. Luce Theron flees at the sight of Cadsuane. I love that for her. Mm-hmm. Rand is trying to intimidate her, and it's giving the cowardly lion from The Wizard of Oz, where he's like, humph, humph. And they're like,
it's so
funny. Oh, no,
funny.
he goes, put 'em up.
It's so funny. I think it's funny.
That's Rand to me
because he like
right
boils
now.
tea aggressively while like staring out of his head to try. He's like, I'm gonna make myself look crazy. He thinks to himself, and he's like, the tea's too hot. So he opens the window and he floats the tea into the snow, and then he brings it back, and he's like, now it's great.
Here's my thing.
So funny.
The Wheel of Time has the potential to be one of the funnier comedies.
Mm-hmm. And Cadsuane's just sitting there like, what are you doing?
This is unnecessary, honestly. Like, Rand was embarrassing himself, and it's okay. He does that sometimes. Ooh, men and women need to work together. That's I think is going to be some end game stuff. That's
on
gotta
brand.
be the end. Okay, the end. Perrin accepts his wolfiness because we're just not going to have him not accept his wolfiness, right? I don't think Robert Jordan's message is going to be suppress everything about you that makes you interesting.
Probably not. I'd be surprised.
I don't think that's going to be the message. And I don't think the message is going to be men and women should not ever work together. So I think that's going to come back together. Like, it's all going to be about balance. Balance the, if we're living in a dichotomous world, which Robert Jordan appears to be living in terms of sex, then the sexes have to be balanced, right? Mm-hmm. What task did Rand want to use Calendor for? Because he mentions wanting to use a task. Okay, so I think this is what it is. Healing the taint. We think.
Scrubbing that bad boy.
Scrub it clean.
With a sword.
Ouch.
Jinkies.
Jinkies. I think for any healing the taint, methinks. I think for any healing task, you should enlist Nynaeve.
That would be a good idea.
Hello, she's the best healer ever.
She is Queen Heal.
Yeah, I just feel like that if we need a woman to work with us on this thing, right? We should probably get Nynaeve to do it if it's a healing task.
I would.
I feel like she's going to figure out those weaves.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to fix that taint thing. Especially, I feel like post-Fedwin, Rand's really going to want to figure that out.
Probably.
He doesn't want to lose any more kids.
Yeah, it'd be bad.
In his army.
That'd be a disappointment.
Yeah, they keep dying. There's like lots of them that have now.
Yeah, many.
That sucks.
Yeah. Is that it?
That's it?
All right, chapter 27, The Bargain. There's not going to be a lot for us to talk about. I think we covered almost all of it. Seated cross-legged in a heavily gilded high-backed chair, Min tried to lose herself in the leather-bound copy of Herod Fell's Reason and Unreason lying open on her knees. It was not easy. Oh, the book itself was mesmerizing. Master Fell's writings always swept her into worlds of thought she had not dreamed of while working in stables. She very much regretted the old man's death. She hoped to find a clue in his books as to why he had been killed. Her dark ringlets swung as she shook her head and tried to apply herself. The book was fascinating, but the room was oppressive. Rand's small throne room in the Sun Palace was thick with gilt from the wide cornices to the tall mirrors on the walls, replacing those Rand had smashed. From the 2 rows of chairs, like the one she sat in, to the dais at the head of the rows and the dragon throne atop the dais. So, we get reminded of what this room looks like for a while. How's Min?
She's annoyed.
Why?
Because Rand has sent her 2 letters, and both of them have been very, not helpful. They're stay there, trust no one, here's where I am.
Mm-hmm. See you later.
And she's like, I guess I will continue to read my book and wait for you to come home.
Pretty much. Which again,
is annoying.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, see, but I love that she's aware that it's annoying.
Yes, I do appreciate that.
If she was sitting there going, I'm so glad that I get to read this book and we'll see when he comes home and I'll give him a big old smooch. No, that would be so fucking annoying to me.
Yeah, she's excited for him to come back, but she's also not I'm so happy I'm a kept woman.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yes.
Not that there's nothing wrong with
Oh, certainly not.
Yeah. But just, I don't know.
It would be
antithetical to who she is.
Antithetical to who the character was introduced as.
Yes.
And surprising reversal.
Yes. It would feel like it was a reversal in order to please a man.
Yeah.
And in my mind, there's nothing wrong with a woman that's I don't battle. I'ma stay home. That, to me, completely fair. Yeah. I'm going to mind my business. Maybe I'll get a goat. I don't know. Okay, keep going. Read me a story.
So Rand Rand strolled in. So she reads for a page and a half and thinks about stuff. And thinks about how much she likes fucking. Good for you. I'm glad you're embracing that.
We'll take support.
Consensual
lovers.
Cadsuane stresses her out. Cerelia stresses her out.
Right, because Cadsuane always wants more information.
So does
Cerelia wants more information.
So they're still working on
and she's like, how am I supposed to give you more information?
He's not
back. Here. He has sent me 2 letters. Neither of them are particularly helpful.
One of the doors swung open, and Rand strolled in with a dragon scepter nestled in the crook of his arm. He wore a golden crown, a broad circlet of laurel leaves. That must be his crown of swords everyone was talking about. Snug breeches that showed his legs to advantage, and a gold-worked green silk coat that fit him beautifully. He was beautiful.
Hey, babe. I killed a bunch of people. How about a quickie before I go back out there and commit some more war crimes?
So he marks his page, and he stands there and smiles and starts thumbing his earlobe and humming.
Oh, that's Luce Theron for you. Luce Theron's like, hot lady, let me rub my ear.
And he's like, the maiden seemed really upset.
Yeah, they are upset with you. You vanished without talking to them about it, and they're supposed to protect you. And we had a whole fucking thing about it.
Maybe they are upset, she said calmly. Maybe they wondered where you were, the way I did. Maybe they wondered whether you were hurt or sick or cold, the way I did, she thought bitterly. The man looked confused. I wrote to you, he said slowly.
Every day for a year.
And she sniffed. Twice, with Ashaman to deliver your letters. You wrote twice, Rand al'Thor, if you can call it writing.
I mean, that is kind of shitty, considering that he could just pop in and give it to her himself, and tell her himself.
And
am I wrong?
No.
I mean, he could just gateway in, right? And then if he gateways in on our bath, it's not really a big deal because it's not anything he hasn't seen before.
And a part of her wanted to throw her arms around him, comfort him, draw out all his pain, soothe all his hurts. He had so many and refused to admit a one. She was not going to spring up and rush to him, gushing to know what was wrong, or like he had to be all right. And then he picks her up out of the chair.
Okay, that's kind of hot.
With
to be honest,
with the power, and he floats her over to him.
That's less hot, but still.
And she's like, well, and then they kiss.
So cute. God, I am mercurial as hell.
She peered up at him through her lashes. The first time, she swallowed to clear her voice. First, Jahar Narishma stalked in, trying to stare inside everybody's skull the way he does, and vanished after handing me a scrap of parchment. Let me see, it said, I have claimed the crown of Ilion, trust no one until I return, Rand. A little short of a proper love letter, I'd say. He kissed her again. This time, getting her breath back took longer. This was not going as she'd expected at all. On the other hand, it was not going very badly. The second time, Joan and Adley delivered a bit of paper that said, I will return when I finish here, trust no one, Rand. Adley walked in on me in my bath, she added, and he wasn't shy about getting an eyeful. Rand, blah, blah, blah.
You ruined it. Why? Yeah. Boo.
Apparently she brings this up because she's like, that'll make him jealous, which will make him want to kiss me more.
No.
And then Rand is like, oh, I killed that guy.
No, come on. I just want the sexy.
And he magically yeets the crown off his head. And then she's like, maybe we should fuck. Maybe that'll help.
I mean, it won't hurt. But therapy would be good.
Like, I should just rip his shirt off right now. And then someone knocks on the door.
No.
And who is it?
The maiden?
Pillsbury Doughbrain.
Oh, not... That was the worst one of all.
Doughbrain comes in.
To update. You can't wait 10 minutes. Well, not 10 minutes. 45.
2 hours, maybe 3.
No, come on.
He comes and goes, my Lord Dragon, my Lady Taviran, and Min is like, it's a joke, it's just a thing. And he goes, okay, maybe, but like, half the fucking city is wearing tight pants now, so you have an effect. Because apparently, she's walking around wearing pants, and now like half the city, the women are wearing pants.
Everyone's wearing pants
The noble women, yeah.
I love that for her. I love that for all of them. Wear your tight pants, ladies. I love it. She's a trendsetter.
And Min is like, maybe he's talking about my legs, maybe I'll compliment his legs, and then Rand will get jealous and want to fuck me more. And
Min
I'm like,
just introduced yoga pants to an entire nation.
And Rand, he goes, oh, so you're changing the world too, Min, and he just boops her nose. I'm like, this is a very sudden whiplash from I killed my friend, but okay.
Okay,
you know what?
See, but this is trauma. Because,
it is, yeah.
Because I have said
it is.
I've said the worst shit to you, and then I'm like, anyway.
Because then he goes, he boops her nose and grins, and then he says, you're changing the world, and then he goes, in better ways than I am, it appears.
Yeah, it's trauma.
Oh, Rand, you poor baby.
It's just trauma. He's just like, I'm gonna put it in a box, just like me. Like, you're like, you know how sometimes I'll tell you a story that I think is funny, and then you look at me and you're like, that's not funny. That's actually really upsetting. It's that. It's when you realize, like, oh,
that was bad.
That was bad. And I'm still recovering from that, actually.
So Doughbrain is like, I did everything you asked, all your letters. I did everything you asked. And Min was like, Min goes to get booze, I guess. She goes to get drinks.
Yeah.
Incidentally, she's wearing high-heeled boots.
Good for her.
Good for her.
You know what? High-heeled boots are the only heels I can wear.
Mm-hmm.
Like, regular high heels, no. I don't know what it is about the boots, if there's just better arch support or what, or the heel is thicker, but like, those are the only shoes with heels I can really walk around in.
So she's like, I bet there were like 20 fucking letters that he wrote me that the fucking serving women never gave me. Fucking Caraline.
Really?
She thinks so, because he sent tons of letters to Doughbrain.
Oh, no, I think he just had like a lot of stuff he had to tell Doughbrain.
Could be. So we get the news. What's the news?
The news is Elayne has taken...
No.
Elayne's in Kama?
No. Not until next chapter.
Oh. I don't know. What is
Torm Ryan disappeared. David Hamlin
no.
and Padden Fane have deserted Torm Ryan. Eilil and Anayela are here.
No, don't have them there. They're trying to murder you.
So is
them
Weiramon.
And the Weimaraner are trying to murder you. What are their names again?
Eilil and Anayela.
All right,
I
those
know.
girls. They're bad news.
The A-team?
The assassin ladies. The A-team? Yes, the A-team. They're trying to assassinate you.
And he's like, all of the servants that I've put with them are very trustworthy, so which means they're spies. And Rand goes, how do you know when a woman wants to kill you? And Dobrain goes, when she knows your name. 'Cause women!
those
Bingo square.
Those females. I know. Can I get it on the next bingo sheet? Just is it transferable?
Women? What, problematic gender dynamics? That's your free space.
I know.
Every time.
Wait. So, you know what? You know how you know how you know that a woman wants to kill you? When they talk about doing it over
and hold
your
a
body.
knife over your prone body. Yeah, that is good.
Yeah, like Davin Bashir walked up and was like, what did I miss? What's going on?
You know, one of my favorite things in the series is still when Rand had just met Bashir, and Bashir is like, good to meet you. I see that you're training to be better with the sword. Good dagger!
That was objectively like very stupid of him.
A legend, and everybody is like veiling, and Weiramon screams, die. I love that part so much. It's so fucking funny.
It is really funny.
Caraline and High Lord Darlin are in Lady Erlin's palace in the city under the protection of Cadsuane Sedai. Perhaps protection is not the correct word. I've been refused entry to see them, but I hear that they've attempted to leave the city and been brought back like sacks.
Who has?
Caraline and Darlin have tried to leave Cadsuane's palace.
Well, yeah, Cadsuane might not be like the most fun time ever.
In a sack, one story claims. Having met Cadsuane, I can almost believe it. And Rand is like, oh, fucking goddamn it, I have to deal with her.
Okay, but imagine the love story of like, okay, they're in
a sack
they're
together.
in this like angry old lady's palace. And then, yeah.
I want to read it.
And they, yeah. Wait, someone
Bring
write
in
it.
your price.
Someone write it. Because they like, okay, they're like, they were not into each other at first, right? Wasn't that a thing?
She will lead him on a merry chase, is what Min saw, and then they will get married.
And he's kind of into her, but she's like, I'm not into anybody. Classic.
Because Ryoton kept on being like, we're getting married in the morning, and she was like, you smell terrible.
You smell bad.
Like in a preventable way.
Yes, in a preventable way. So then, yeah. So, okay, can you imagine? Like, then they come up with a plan to escape together with probably many quips. The dialogue is flowing, right? They're finishing each other's, like, roasts.
Where's our fanfic?
Where's our AO3?
Soireen, come on. You can do it.
Get it?
I believe in you.
But, okay, so then.
This is not you do what you want. We're messing with it.
Then. But they're like arguing the whole way, like about what they're gonna do and like what whose plan is better.
I'd read a whole fucking book.
I'd read the whole fucking
Caraline
book.
and Darlin in Cadsuane's apartment's house, castle, palace
escaping
thing.
together, and then imagine they get dragged back in a sack. They're both arguing the whole time, but they're like pressed up close against each other.
Yeah, it'd be great.
They're like, it's your fucking fault we got captured.
Yeah.
It's your fucking fault.
Oh God, I need this.
And then somehow they kiss. Someone tell me how they kiss. Do they kiss in the sack? Oh, do they kiss in the sack, Gus? Do they kiss in the sack? Or are they still fighting?
No, but they're like face to face
They're like,
in the sack.
Oh my God, the tension's so good. The tension's so good.
They're like smushed together in the sack,
and their faces are like right next to
face.
each other, and they're arguing, like whispered arguing the whole time about whose fault it was and how they're going to get out and what they're going to do, and that the dragon's probably going to kill them and it's all the other person's fault. Blah, 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 blah. Like he is like, I didn't want to bring you, but I felt like I had to, like all this kind of shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, God,
yes.
I love this.
Or no. She didn't want to bring him, but he like walked in on her leaving.
Yeah.
And was like, I'm going with you. And she's like, fuck you are. And then the whole time they're coming back in the sack, they're fighting about how he shouldn't have come. And da-da-da-da-da. And like, he's like, I should have come. If it weren't for me, like, you would have been captured like 45 minutes ago or whatever.
The adventures of Caraline Damodred and Darlin Sisnera.
Do you not see the hotness of this couple?
I love it. Oh, God.
You love it?
I just love how... Here's the thing. Caraline Damodred is such a blank slate. We can project whatever we want.
But I feel like she's got the personality like of a young but more down-to-earth Moraine.
Yeah, I'd buy that.
Because, like, how old do you think she is?
Caraline? Probably in her...
Late 20s?
Mid-30s, if I had to guess.
Okay. So, you know, maybe has lived a little bit more than I'm initially thinking.
I don't know. Let me see. Caraline Damodred, don't look at my phone.
I'm really appreciating, though, how much the entire Watt fandom, well, maybe not the entire Watt fandom, but like a lot of the Brynwell Cup people came around to the Caraline hotness of it all. Because I'm just saying, husky voice,
yeah, we don't know.
Archery Moraine.
It's not said. She's high seat of House Damodred.
High seat of House Damodred.
So she's the lead Damodred.
She's the 1%, but like...
Well, she's a Damodred.
Yeah. Well, there could be some lesser Damodreds.
Yeah.
You know, like the, black sheep family.
Yeah. If I'm going to guess, I'm going to say Moraine was being set up to be queen when she was 20. So Moraine was certainly the oldest. Moraine was about 42 when she went missing. And we have since lost Barthanes, who was probably about 38. So I'm going to say Caraline is in her early 30s.
I love her.
Yeah. She's also...
So she's age appropriate for me.
She might be younger because it's the, equivalent of middle ages.
I mean, how young would I date?
Look, I'm saying Caraline is my guess. Caroline's between 28 and 35.
I think the youngest I would date is 25.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I ever had to date again, which I wouldn't. Obviously.
So anyway, we love Caraline Damodred in this house.
Love her. Caroline
The fact that she was eliminated... I mean, I got to root for Bashir.
It was a mistake that you all made. I'm just kidding.
Caraline will support Elayne for the Sun Throne, according to Min. Not a viewing, but I believe her. As for Darlin, aside from the fact that he'll marry Caraline after she's wrung him out and hung him up to dry, all I can say is that one day he'll be a king. I saw the crown on his head, a thing with a sword on the front of it, but I don't know what country it belongs to, and... Oh, yes, he'll die in bed, and she will survive him. And Dobrain goes... He chokes on his wine for some reason. Because he's like, wow, you knew that? How did you... Yeah.
Maybe he just didn't realize how, like... I don't know.
How the viewings, that's...
Yeah, how accurate they would be.
And Rand is like, God damn it, they're not gonna die. And it's like, Rand, these ones were chill.
It's Moraine's cousin. Can you please... Like, oh my God. They helped you survive your stabbing. Does he not remember this?
He may have been delirious.
Well, could Min inform him right now she was there? Darlin carried Rand back.
I know.
What the fuck?
So the door opens, and before we learn who comes in, we're going to take a quick break for a couple of ads. Welcome back. The door opens, and in come Marana and Raphella. Remember them?
Vaguely.
They're the ones that did the bargaining with the and they say, we have an update about the sea folk. And what does Rand say?
I don't give a habit of giving a fuck about the sea folk.
Yeah.
Can I fuck my girlfriend in peace? Please.
So give me the rundown of this bargain.
Okay, the rundown of the bargain is they want Rand to let them have like a mile in every port of every city.
A square mile in every port town.
Yeah. Just to look at. Not to do anything with.
Sovereign territory of the Appa on the air.
I'm just kidding.
I know. Yeah.
So a mile in every port of every city. And they want, I forget.
They're going to give him boats when he needs them. So that's good. He's not allowed to change any of their internal laws.
That's fair.
the within that area,
that's gonna cause some problems, though.
Probably.
For sure.
Within the square mile, the laws of the Arthur en Mier are to hold sway above any others. This agreement must also be made by...
Whoa. The laws are gonna hold sway above any others insofar as they relate to the Arthur en Mier.
No.
Always?
They are effectively getting...
Who made this bargain?
Marana and Rafella.
Marana and Rafella, you're fucking dumb.
They're getting 1 square mile in every port town.
Bargain more.
I know.
Always haggle. These Aes Sedai are going in there going, done. No, that was Nynaeve.
It doesn't... Yeah, the more you talk about Nynaeve's bargain, the more I think you're right that they did come in.
They came in with ridiculous demands.
We're going to come in asking for $5 million, but we'll settle for 1. And they came up with all the bargains to Nynaeve, and Nynaeve went, okay, yeah, all right, fine. What else?
Yeah, I think they were intending for her to bargain them down to a more reasonable thing, but they got everything and then some, and they were like, all right.
I'm not gonna say.
She said it was fine, so we're gonna do it. We're gonna do all this kind of shitty stuff because, she said it was cool, so I guess it's cool.
So...
And now we're just gonna beat the shit out of Marilla all the time, because whatever.
It's 1 square mile of land at every city on navigable water that you control now or come to control.
My God.
Doesn't mean it has to be the port. It could be, outside the city. But basically, it gives them outposts.
I thought it was the port, because that would have made sense, because, they like being close to the water.
All it said is a square mile at every city on navigable water.
Sure, okay. Done.
This agreement must also be made by the rulers of those ports, so that, And Rand goes, so the agreement will survive me? I can live with that, too. And Dobrain is like, you're gonna... Well, hey, we're a city on water.
Yeah.
A mile square? And the light alone knows what peculiar laws? I've travelled on a seafolk ship, and it is peculiar. Bare legs are not in it. And what are the customs duties? And docking fees? And they'll ruin Caraline in a year, my Lord Dragon. They'll ruin every port where you allow them to do this.
That's racist.
Yeah, probably. And Rand is like, yeah, okay, they didn't say who chooses the land, so it doesn't have to be on the water at all. They'll have to buy their food from you and live with your laws when they leave, so they can't be too arrogant. At worst, you can collect your customs when the goods come out of their sanctuary. For the rest, if I can accept it, you can too. So yeah, he could put the square mile anywhere he wants.
Yeah, so relax.
And then he's like, what else? And what else is there?
Fuck. What else is there?
The Dragon Reborn agrees to keep an ambassador chosen by the Arthur en Mier with him at all times.
All times?
Hareen Din Togara has named herself. She will be accompanied by her Windfinder, her Swordmaster, and a retinue. And Rand is like, I beg your fucking pardon? And then Rafella keeps talking. And fourthly, the Dragon Reborn agrees to go promptly to a summons from the mistress of the ships, but not more than twice in any 3 consecutive years.
What?
So, 2 times every 3 years, they can be like, come to the ship and talk, and he must go.
Well, that seems fair, because sometimes there's an emergency.
And Rand is like, this is the worst thing I've ever heard.
Well, the retinue thing, the being followed by 45 people sounds obnoxious.
Yes.
All the time? Or just where we have to be the same city?
I assume it means bring them with him. Doesn't mean in the room.
Well, because that would make the Min situation
it'd be
awkward.
rough. I think it means if he's
she
in
just
Caraline,
stands over them watching.
Oh my God.
Giving advice.
I think it's if he's in Caraline, they're in Caraline. If he... I don't know how this applies to wartime, when he's actively jumping from city to city.
Well,
but
I
think it means
specify.
Wherever you're posted, bring them with you.
Sure. Well, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Because he brings the Aiel wherever he goes.
Yeah. So Rand screams...
Well, until he, bops off whenever he bops off, because occasionally that's just what he wants to do.
I love this. He screams at them, and then Marana has a Taviran attack, and goes, you castigate us! You were present in the beginning, Taviran, and you twisted them as you wanted them. You could have had them all kneeling to you, but you left. They were not pleased to know they'd been dancing for a Taviran. Somewhere they learned to weave shields, and before you were well off their ship, Rafella and I were shielded, so we could not take advantage with the power, they said. More than once, Hareen threatened to hang us in the rigging by our toes until we came to our senses, and I, for one, believe she meant it. Feel lucky that you have the ships you want, Rand al'Thor. Hareen would have given you a handful. Feel lucky she didn't want your new boots and that ghastly throne of yours as well. Oh, by the by, she formally acknowledged you as the Coromor. May you get a bellyache from it. And then she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say any of that.
I'm glad she did, to be honest, because he needed to hear it.
Yeah.
Even though I was also questioning a lot of their decision making.
Yeah, and Rand is like, I deserve that.
Yeah,
I did.
I also deserve it. Am I Rand?
So they're like, don't worry though,
I'm calling my therapist.
Cadsuane doesn't know much about it. We're going to try to keep this under wraps.
Well, what Cadsuane doesn't know won't hurt her, but she will know sooner rather than later from someone. Someone will fuck up.
Cadsuane even waylaid us on the way here. It's difficult keeping anything from her, but we did. We didn't think you'd want her to. Rand is like, I really got to deal with fucking hell. Okay, Min, call the maidens, have them hit up Cadsuane, tell her I want to talk to her. And Min is like, that's not going to work. And Rand is like, it'll work. It'll work.
No, first they're going to beat the shit out of you. Because they were waiting until after you were done screwing, but it appears that you're not going to screw, so we might as well
they totally would have come in while they were fucking.
That's rude.
It is rude, but they totally would do that.
Well, I thought that they were just trying to be a little bit respectful of the fact,
I think so. They needed to get more maidens and play rock, paper, scissors to figure out who was going to kick the shit out of him first.
Well, how long do you think that would have taken?
It took most of this chapter.
So what, like 25 minutes?
10?
10 minutes?
Maybe 15? Marana and Rafaela go out of the room, and Min looks out, and she's like, this is like 30, 40 maidens out here playing rock, paper, scissors with each other. I'm sorry, playing knife, paper, stone with each other.
Knife, paper, stone.
And like the ones who aren't playing knife, paper, stone are like really intently watching the ones who are playing knife, paper. This is weird. Am I wrong that this is weird?
It is weird.
And then Min's like, well, nothing to worry about that. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, just until they come in and beat the shit out of Rand.
And Rand gets into the bedroom, and she's like,
yeah,
whoa, buddy.
We're getting somewhere.
He had his coat off, his snowy shirt unlaced at neck and cuffs, and pulled out of his breeches. Sitting on the foot of the bed, she leaned back. Sitting on the foot of the bed, she leaned back against one of the heavy blackwood bedposts and swung her feet up, crossing her ankles. She'd not had a chance to watch Rand undress himself, and she intended to enjoy it. And then he's like, let's talk about Cadsuane. She's like, no! What can Cadsuane possibly teach me? He asked suddenly. You and all the Ashaman, she replied. That had been her viewing. I don't know what, Rand. I only know you have to learn it. All of you do.
God, thank God we have Min, though.
And she's like, you gonna take that off?
I hear everybody's feelings about her. I do. But, like, thank God we have her to at least be like, hey, Rand, stop being an idiot.
Yes. Oh, no,
he actually listens to her.
We have spent hours on the complicated question of Min. She's valuable character.
She's valuable. She's doing the humanitarian work that needs to be done. Like, listen, is she a therapist? No, but she's getting at least to some squishy parts of Rand.
I think she prefers it when they're not squishy, but
yeah, I heard it once I said it.
You need her, Rand. You can't afford to make her angry. You can't afford to chase her away.
Right.
And Rand is
like... Thank you.
And then Rand kind of his eyes unfocus for a second. She's like, you still talking to Loose Theron, buddy? You gotta stop doing that.
Well, let's go Loose Theron to thumb some earlobes. What do you think?
Thumb something. And he's like, I don't need anybody. Except you. I need you.
Oh.
You're great. Not for you I need, Min, he said simply. Not for your viewings. I just need you.
Oh.
Burn her, but the man could sweep her feet out from under her with just a few words.
See, this is why I say, Avienda is for warrior Rand, Elayne is for politician Rand, and Min is for human Rand.
It seems like it. Mm-hmm. With a smile as eager as hers, he grasped the bottom of his shirt with both hands.
Yes!
And bent to begin hauling it over his head.
Yay!
Lacing her fingers over her stomach, she settled back to watch.
Woo!
The three maidens who marched into the room no longer wore the shufa that had concealed their short hair in the corridor. They were empty-handed, and no longer wore those heavy blade belt knives either. That was all Min had time to notice. Rand's head and arms were still inside the shirt, and Samara, flaxen-haired and tall even for an Aiel woman, seized the white linen and tangled it, trapping him. And then they kicked the shit out of him.
He's getting kicked the shit out of by a 6-foot-tall lady.
And Min hurls herself at him with knives, and they just punt her across the room.
They're not going to kill him.
No, they kick the crap out of him. By the way,
what? He deserves it.
Why did they wait until he had his shirt over his head?
Oh, so they wouldn't hurt his side wounds. So they could see his side wounds?
No.
Why is it?
If Rand were set upon by 3 people who were punching him, what would he do?
They magic them?
Yeah.
Oh, so they were waiting until he couldn't see them?
He couldn't see them.
That's funny.
Because his shirt gets over his head, and then the first maiden grabs his shirt and like bunches it off so he can't see.
That's funny. So they could have been screwing.
They could have been, but like only if he was taking his shirt off mid-coitus.
Wait, so how did they know that his shirt was over his head?
I'm sure they were watching or listening.
You wily ladies.
So they kick the ever-loving fuck out of him.
Because they could have been totally screwing.
Why did they kick the fuck out of him, by the way?
For leaving them behind?
Yes.
As they should.
Nasser bent to catch a fistful of his hair and jerk his head up. "We won the right for this," she growled, "but every maiden wanted to lay her hands on you. I left my clan for you, Randall Thor. I will not have you spit on me." And then Samara grabs his hair and goes, "This is how we treat a first brother who dishonors us, Randall Thor. The first time. The next, we will use straps."
Promise?
And then Dara looks down at her and goes, "You carry the honor of Fardarais, my son of a maiden. You promised to call us to dance the spears for you, and then you ran to battle and left us behind. You will not do this again."
Yes, you will not do this again.
And they all go to leave, and then Samara at the door stops and turns around and goes, "Do not make this necessary again, son of a maiden." And she leaves.
Preach. Word.
And Min is like,
that is the last time we'll ever hear of him doing that.
Surely. Later this book? No way. Although again, I get it when
I blocked that
just
out.
against
channelers. I'm just focusing on my bingo.
So
maybe I should do a square where it's just Rand leaves the maidens behind again.
So they talk a little bit. She's like, Cerilia's gonna kick the shit out of him for this. And Rand's like, nobody ever learns about this because they should. They deserved that. They did. So Rand is being surprisingly reflective.
Wow, Randy. I wouldn't have thought you'd be so reflective.
And he eases himself onto bed, and she snuggles up next to him and thinks not what she'd been hoping for, but as much as was going to happen, she was sure. And he goes, "Not what I was hoping to use this bed for." And then, "If I'm interrupting," a woman's cool voice said from the doorway.
You are, actually.
"I suppose I could return when
Could you fuck off?
More convenient."
Yes, that would be excellent. Thank you. Fucking leave.
So here comes Daigian Masanaelin.
This is why people don't like Aes Sedai. They're just walking in on people mid-cuddle, mid-potential coitus, being judgy about the fact that they walked into someone's bedroom unannounced.
Rand goes, "Who might you be when you're at home? Whoever you are, didn't anyone ever teach you to knock?"
Yeah. Thank you.
And so what is she here
God,
for?
I cannot believe I'm defending Rand right now.
Look, this...
But you know what? I just want them to have sex and be happy. Okay?
What is she here for?
Is it Cadsuane related?
Cadsuane said I received your request and asked me to convey her regrets. She very much wishes to finish the piece of needlepoint she's working on. Perhaps she might be able to see you another day, if she can find time. And Rand is like, "I beg your fucking pardon?"
Oh, she's just doing a thing where she's trying to put him in his place. I would just go and be like, "Hi, stop doing this power dynamic bullshit. Like, let's level with each other, okay? Like, I've got power over you. You've got power over me. We don't need to do this little dance. Like, let's just work together. Let's just cut the bullshit. Let's just cut it." And you think she'd go for that?
Maybe.
I think if I came to her and leveled her with her and God, listen, I respect you. I respect what you have to offer to the team. I've got power over you. You've got power over me. There's no need for us to do this little song and dance.
And Daigian sniffs and goes, "I will leave you to resume whatever you were doing."
Oh, don't be jealous.
Min wondered whether she could get away with slapping an Aes Sedai. Daigian eyed her frostily, as if hearing the thought, and turned to glide from the room. And Rand is like, "You can go tell her she can take her needlepoint and stuff it up her fucking ass." And Min is like, no, chill it out. Chill out.
Just go to her and say, "Listen, we don't need to do this, Cads."
"You need Cadsuane. She doesn't need you." And Rand goes, doesn't she?
She does need, actually, men. Actually,
does.
we kind of need each other.
We all kind of need
We kind of
Rand.
need each other. We
Can
all,
you get right down
we
to
all
it?
need somebody to lean on.
And then
We're gonna save the world, so we gotta work together. We all need somebody.
we switch perspective to Rand. Maybe they fucked. They probably didn't.
They didn't, and I hate everybody. Okay, who do I hate now? Dobrain? I hate whatever the D lady's name is.
Daigian.
I hate... Well, no,
Samara,
the maidens
they're okay.
I like. They're fine. That was
Marana
funny.
and Rafella.
Hate them.
Because the entire cock block brigade decided to come
all of this
today.
information could have waited an hour. It all could have waited an hour. Let the man who's stressed out have his lay. Let the people fuck. I think that if we let more people have sex when they need to have sex, the world would be a better place. In a
consensual way.
And so obviously that is implied. Yeah. In a consensual way, the world would be a better place. We'd all be happier probably.
So she helps Rand get ready, and she's like, well, I'm going to come with you.
I mean,
and he's like, no.
That's the goal.
He goes, no, I'm come with you, hang out, see what's up with Cadsuane. I'm coming with you. And he goes, no, you're fucking not.
Oh my God.
Stay here in this room like the porcelain doll that you definitely are.
No, that's dumb. Don't be like this. I'm coming with you. And thank God she does. Right?
No, she doesn't.
What? Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
He stays behind, and she goes, well, I suppose you're old enough to cross the stable yard without your hand held.
I literally wouldn't go anywhere without her because she's the one who can tell when things are going to happen.
If you were going into a situation where you were very concerned that something bad might happen and you had the option to bring me along or not bring me along, regardless of how helpful I was...
It's Cadsuane.
It's Cadsuane, yeah. I agree with you. He should bring her along.
I don't think anything bad is going to happen.
Yeah, I know. I don't like that he doesn't include her so much, but I also...
He is like, read your book, sweetheart.
Yeah, I don't love that. I don't like that, yeah... So she sits down, and Rand is... Oh, I hate the wording of this. Rand nodded. This was what he wanted. Her here and safe. So, okay.
It's the apocalypse. No one's safe. Give women autonomy. Give women autonomy. Give women autonomy.
Bunch of Ashaman autonomy.
When do we want it?
Now. 100 years ago, at least.
100 years ago.
So... the Ashaman are out there, and he's like, all right, Nandera, where's Cad's at? Cad's time. I would like to go talk to
Where's my little Cadbury egg?
So Rand goes to see Cadsuane, and, Dashiva announces him, and it's all dramatic, and then, Rand starts angrily making tea and being like, look at me, I'm fucking unstable, and Cadsuane is like, I've seen this a million times.
It's always over tea that Rand makes an ass of himself. Has he considered trying coffee?
I know.
Now, here's my thing. I'm going to become absolutely insufferable that I called Dashiva.
Well, you need to have called Dashiva first. You need evidence. Proof. Cold, hard proof.
What do you mean I need cold, hard proof? What other cold, hard proof do I need? He tried to kill Rand.
Dashiva laughing to himself about being Osengar. Going, ha ha ha, it's me. I don't know. Something like that.
He's Osengar.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, Gus. What other proof do I need? He just attacked Rand. You think he could just be a sucky normal?
Maybe.
He instrumented this whole thing.
You said Egan Pedros was flawless.
I said that's because Egan Pedros was flawless.
So why is he okay, but Dashiva's not?
Well, because here's the difference between Egan Pedros and Dashiva. One, Egan Pedros wasn't a fucking Forsaken. Egan Pedros wasn't in Rand's inner circle. Dashiva's part of Rand's inner circle, and he acts like this. Rand has given him every privilege. What reason does he have to attack Rand then?
Fair.
Rand has never death threatened him, as far as we know.
He was willing to throw his life away against the Shan-Chan.
You're telling me that in the 2 days that have happened since that moment, Dashiva has gotten over the trauma of that and instituted a rebellion.
I don't know.
That's a hell of an organization for 2 days.
All right.
This was a plotted attack. You think they'd take a little more time, considering it's the Dragon Reborn.
That's fair. So...
No, wait. Was it even 2 days? Rand basically, left whatever happened.
Came straight back here, yeah.
Came straight back. So it's been 2 hours.
Pretty much. So...
He's been plotting this from way before.
So Rand he tries to, freak Cadsuane out, and it doesn't work, and he goes...
Of course not. She's got an iron ovary.
I want you to be my advisor. I'm king of Ilion now, and kings have Aes Sedai advisors. And she go, excellent, this is perfect, this is what I wanted.
No, she goes, bullshit.
Certainly not. An advisor has to stand and watch her charge make a muddle much too often to suit me. She also has to take orders, something I'm particularly bad at. Won't someone else do?
Mood.
Alana, perhaps. Rand is like, you shouldn't, never mind. We're not gonna get into this.
Of course she knows about it. Everyone knows about it.
What if you didn't have to swear any oaths? And she's like, maybe.
That's getting interesting.
You sound uneasy. I don't like to tell a man he's afraid, even when he has reason to be. Uneasy over a sister you haven't turned into a tame lapdog snaring you in some fashion? Let me see. I can make you a few promises. Perhaps they'll set your mind at rest. I expect you to listen, of course. Make me waste my breath and you'll yelp for it. But I won't make you do what I want. I won't tolerate anyone lying to me, certainly. That's another thing you'll find decidedly uncomfortable. But I don't expect you to tell me the deepest yearnings of your heart, either. Oh, yes, whatever I do, it'll be for your own good. Not mine, not the good of the White Tower. Yours. Now, does that ease your fears? Pardon me, your unease? Rand is like, how did you just give me a bunch of reassurances that felt like a threat?
Because she's awesome. She's so awesome. I fucking love Cadsuane.
You want rules. Most boys do, whatever they say. Very well, let me see. I cannot abide incivility, so you'll be properly civil to me, to my friends, and my guests. That includes not channeling at them, in case you haven't guessed, and holding your temper, which I understand is memorable.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It also takes in your companions in those black coats. Pity if I had to spank you for something one of them did. Does that suffice? I can make more if you need them. And Rand is like, this is bullshit and I'm out of here.
Oh, come on. It's not bullshit. That was a very reasonable thing that she just asked of you.
I do hope you haven't tried to use Calendor. I have heard it's vanished from the stone. You managed to escape once, but you might not twice. He's like, pardon? Excuse? What? Oh, very few even in the tower knew that Calendor was before you drew it, but there are surprising things hidden in musty corners of the tower library. I went rummaging some years ago when I first had the suspicion you might be suckling at your mother's breast. Just before I decided to go back into retirement. Babes are messy things, and I could not see how to find you before you stopped dripping at one end or the other. And he's like, okay, no.
She's funny as shit.
She's so
I cannot
fucking
believe
funny.
She's hated in this fandom. I cannot believe
we've got
it.
6 books left for her to do bullshit.
That's true. But so far, fucking adore her.
And he goes, go back to the thing about Calendor being an issue. And she goes, I told you I cannot abide incivility. If you ask for my help again, I expect you to ask politely. And I'll expect an apology for your behavior today. And he goes, okay, can you please explain what you mean about Calendor?
Again, I think you should just make a really good council. Like a council. Rourke, Cadsuane, Davram Bashir, Tom. He could not fuck up after that.
It'd be tough. If he had only the people he trusted.
I mean, I would trust those 4. Yeah. Would you not?
I trust most of them. Cadsuane, I would be cautious. Because Rand is going to not trust any Aes Sedai, because Moiraine told him not to.
Sure, but then put her on the council with Rourke, Davram, and Tom. I mean, they'll keep an eye on her.
Sure. It's flawed, she replied curtly, lacking the buffer that makes other Sa'angreal safe to use, and it apparently magnifies the taint, inducing wildness of the mind. So long as a man is using it, anyway. The only safe way for you to use the sword that is not a sword, and the only way to use it without the risk of...
So that's possibly why Rand was puking.
Could be. But he was puking before he started using Calendor.
Was he puking before Calendor?
Yes, he's used
then
Calendor...
It's the goal. Unless we just have Exorcist Rand for the rest of the...
The rest of the books?
Rest of the books.
The only safe way for you to use the sword that is not a sword, the only way to use it without the risk of killing yourself or trying to do the light alone knows what insanity, is linked with 2 women, and one of them guiding the flows. And Rand is like, well... All right, well, Calendor's out. Also, I guess it's not entirely my fault that I killed Adley.
I mean, it is.
Actually, he says, it had not been just the wildness of Saidin around Abu Dar that had killed Adley. He had murdered the man the moment he sent Narishma for the thing. And then Rand is like, fuck, man, I really wanted to use that thing again.
You will.
Now only one chance remained, and it terrified him. He seemed to hear another woman's voice, a dead woman's voice. You could challenge the Creator. So what is he thinking about?
Lanfear.
Which means he's thinking about...
Their conversation in the stone?
He says, I really wanted to use Kalendorf.
Oh, the statues.
The statues.
Yeah.
And you had a theory, I don't know if you mentioned it already, about what you thought he wanted to do.
Well, I think he wants to heal the taint.
Yeah.
Because that is a good idea, considering men keep dying because they're going insane.
Yes.
And also, you know, he's going insane.
Yes.
And so it would be really good. And it's not super ideal to have a bunch of men channeling who can go insane.
It's not ideal.
It's not great to have them walking around.
Kind of bad PR.
Kind of shit.
Yeah.
So.
That could be.
And like they could turn on you at any moment.
Yes, they could. Moore goes nuts at the end of the book. So.
Moore?
Fedwin Moore. Yeah,
oh yeah, Fedwin Moore. And he's lucky because he like took Min. Yeah. Right? He's lucky that the craziest thing he did was act like a little kid. Mm-hmm. Though if you were Min...
Terrifying.
I'd be like...
I remember this part differently, by the way. I remember that she had to, like, sing to him to calm him down, and that he was, like, upset. I remember that very differently from how it actually is. I don't know why.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's darker.
I know. I thought he was, like... He turned into a child in his mind. He got scared and started having, like, a tantrum. And she had to, like, soothe him. That's how I remember it. And, like, console him and get him to calm down. And was, like, singing and holding him while he cried.
That's fucking worse.
That's how I remember.
I'm really glad that's not what happened.
Yeah.
Shit, guys. Ugh.
Anyway,
though if Rafe Judkins is listening, it should be how that happens in the friggin' show.
That's the end of chapter 27. Chapter 28, Crimson Thorn. Here's the logo. What is it?
It's a Forsnaken.
It's the Forsnaken. Do you have any notes?
Probably. I think it's this, right?
Yes.
That's what the explosion was, Robert.
Yeah.
Women just fighting generally.
Yes.
Dear Harriet, I'm so confused by the White Tower. They won't take anyone over 25 unless you ran away from the tower.
Yeah, you were already in once. So I guess it's fine. Also, Egwene has raised...
stupid.
Egwene opened the novice book, remember?
Yeah, but that's stupid. Okay. But that rule was stupid anyway. And the fact that they don't have a freaking Aes Sedai group that's just dedicated to going out and finding women who can channel is also stupid.
It is funny. You'd think the Reds could double.
Yeah, like, yeah. Why not? Then, you know, because I imagine that going around gentling men all the time is kind of depressing. It gives them like a nice day on the job. Mm-hmm. Am I right? Mm-hmm. You know, for every, you know, man who can channel, who you Bowie knife in a field. Well, I guess you don't Bowie knife them in the field, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get like a young upstart kid who you can take under your wing. That might attract less shitty people to the Reds. Mm-hmm. Nynaeve taking some time off of getting laid to grace us with her presence.
Very thoughtful.
Fuck. Someone murdered Adelius and Ispen. Mm-hmm. And it's giving us a little bit like when they killed Joya and Amici's Pizza.
Yes.
I'm thinking it's Shidar Hardon for some reason. Okay, I no longer think that. Initially, I thought that. I'm wrong. I have literally no way to prove it. Yeah, you don't, because now I have a way to prove what I think. No, wait. The T suggests it's someone they trusted. Okay, they just agreed with me on that. So I was like, oh wait, no, the T suggested someone they trusted. And then they go, the T suggested someone they trusted. I'm like, oh, fucking thank you. Mm-hmm. Copycats. Copying what I'm thinking. Okay.
Do you want to get into this now?
I do. I think this is the time. Do you not think it's the time?
I think it's Allie. Who do you think murdered Adelius?
So at first I said, Vandene better get her revenge. I swear to God, Robert, as a sister, this one's personal. But then I started thinking. Yeah. Should I read, like, all
of your thoughts that you wrote down?
So I think this plotline can either resolve in two ways. Mm-hmm. One, Vandene gets an epic showdown with her sister's killer.
Yes.
much fun. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool. Would watch
Yes.
an old lady beat the shit out of someone who killed her sister. Absolutely. 10 out of 10. No notes. However, there's some things I cannot shake. Option 2. Vandene was the one who killed her because she felt she had to. A couple points against Vandene. The first is that a Drakkar randomly attacked Moraine right outside of their home when she visited them and nearly killed her.
Yes.
A little village in the middle of nowhere. A Drakkar
not even a village. Oh, it was a village, yeah.
It was like a village of like 17 people.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere that Vandene and Adelius just happened to fuck off to. And all of a sudden Moraine shows up at randomly to ask about land fear.
And various dark things, yes. She was collecting
Can
information.
we find out what those things were that she was asking about, by the way? Because that plays into my theory.
We don't get a lot of information about it.
But the only reason that the Drakkar didn't kill Moraine at the time was that Lan and the warder were nearby and came to the rescue. But notably, the warder and Lan stabbed the Drakkar at the same time. The warder didn't like come up and stab the Drakkar, right? They were
did.
Together.
Both of them did.
Together.
Yeah, because they were...
The warder didn't go like ahead of Lan. Like they kind of did it at the same time.
They were together. Yes.
Yes. I think that's notable. That I don't know. It's suspicious to me.
Here we've got Moraine and Lan are... This is from Encyclopedia Watt. Moraine and Lan are in Tifan's Well in Arafel at the home of Adelius and Vandene, two elderly sisters who are Aes Sedai. Moraine is studying old books and manuscripts. She thinks no one would expect her to come here. She must clear her head and start over.
No one would expect her to come here. So why would a Drakkar show up?
And then she talks to Rand about... Not Rand. She talks to Lan about the Myrell stuff, and they fight a little bit. She recalls Lan carrying her to Anaya to be healed. Vandene enters with tea. She notes Moraine is reading books on the Trolloc Wars, the Watchers Over the Waves, the Legend of the Return, the Horn of Valir, Dark Prophecy, Santhra's book on the Forsaken, Shatter Logoth, and the Prophecies of the Dragon.
Okay. We need to write all of this down.
And then they talk about... So it's mostly book 2 stuff.
We need to write all this shit down, though. Okay. Stuff Moraine was reading.
Yeah.
So, give it to me again. Trolloc Wars?
Trolloc Wars.
What happened to the Trolloc Wars?
The
Blight shit?
Ishamael led endless waves of Trollocs south. The nations had to band together to fight them. Manetherin fell. And then eventually they won.
Manetherin fell. Okay, Manetherin's interesting. Manetherin fell.
The Watchers Over the Waves and the Legend of the Return. So,
the Seanchan.
The Horn of Valir.
Okay, Horn of Valir.
The Dark Prophecy, which is most of what we saw of it was the Lanfear stuff.
Daughter of the Night She Walks Again.
But there's more than that. That's just the part we saw.
The Forsaken.
The Forsaken. Santhra's book on the Forsaken, Shatter Logoth, and the Prophecies of the Dragon. And then Vandene talks about 5 shall ride forth, etc.
Okay.
And then Moraine is like, hey, would a Fade take something that came from Shatter Logoth? And Vandene's like, I don't know, Adelius knows more about that. But
would a Fade take something?
Talking about the dagger, yeah. And then Moraine is like, hey, Vandene, tell me about Lanfear. And Vandene is like, I don't really know anything about Lanfear, except that she and Luce Theron were kind of an item. And then Vandene leaves. Moraine goes outside.
Vandene leaves.
Moraine goes outside and the Drakkar attacks. And then Vandene heals Moraine, and they're like, why didn't we detect it? And they go, hold on, it was warded, so a Black Aja covered its approach.
Yeah, a Black Aja covered its approach. A Black Aja in the middle of nowhere?
Apparently.
When Moraine didn't tell anyone where she was going and no one knew where she was? But yeah, I definitely think that she got attacked then because she was learning about something that they didn't want her to learn about.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird that Vandene left right before the Drakkar came.
Kinda.
It's weird also that it was warded in the middle of nowhere. Kinda. And that it showed up in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, so then why would the warder have saved Moraine? Well, it would have looked suspicious otherwise.
Yeah, right? Probably.
I think the warder was potentially trying to distract Lan by working out with him.
Possibly.
So that he couldn't get to Moraine in time.
So you think Jaime is a dark friend as well?
Well, okay, here's the thing. Jaime is Vandene's warder. If you are Black Aja, a lot of the Reds, notably, who I think a lot of them are probably Black Aja, don't take warders.
That's
right?
true.
So if you are Black Aja, and I think it's been explicitly stated that being Black Aja is easiest as a Red because it's expected that you won't take a warder.
Yes.
Because it's almost impossible, if not impossible, to hide from your warder the fact that you are Black Aja, right? Because you're connected brain-wise.
It's tough. And some Black Aja will seek out dark friends to be their warders.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Right? That if you are Black Aja, you would want either no warder or a fellow dark warder.
Yes.
Because otherwise, like, that's really fucking hard to hide from somebody.
Yes.
Right? Like, that's your everyday having to hide from in your own brain.
Yeah.
What you're up to. Just feels not possible. So either he's a dark friend as well, or I need to send them a fruit basket as an apology. But I think the warder was, potentially trying to distract Lan so that he couldn't get to Moraine in time, which nearly worked.
Mm-hmm.
Notably, Lan was late on the uptake.
Yes.
Right? Moraine nearly died. Very close. She had to be healed by Vandene, right? And why did Vandene heal her? Would have looked suspicious otherwise, right? And Vandene, I bet, is not exactly, like, wanting to take down Lan at this moment.
Probably not.
Lan's, like, notably a lot stronger than her, Adelius and Vandene combined. And if he gets the jump on them, it might not work out so well for the two of them, the three of them.
Probably not.
And if Adelius didn't know Vandene was Black Aja, she would have to be forced to kill her sister in that moment.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, she would.
So, otherwise, Lan would have been with Moraine the whole time, and the Drakkar event might not have gone down like that if he hadn't been fencing with the warder.
He got pissed off because she was like, I'm going to give you to my rel. And he was like, I'm not chattel.
Sure, but then he went off and played swords with what's-his-face.
Yeah.
Which likely means Moraine was getting close to something that Vandene didn't want her to keep searching into, which points to the dragon prophecies, or Balefire. Another point against her is that Aviendha and Elayne wanted to assist in torturing Ispan, but Adelius and Vandene immediately said no, ostensibly to spare the girls from having to torture her. But what if there was another reason? What if Vandene didn't want other people interrogating Ispan? But is Vandene a total sociopath and faking love for her sister only to callously kill her? That's what I was bumping up against. Because as a sister, I would do a lot for them.
Yeah.
Like, I would die for them easily.
Yeah.
For my two younger sisters. I cannot imagine callously killing them and living with them
in like a gloating fashion.
And here's the thing, and living with, because that was the thing. That was the thing that kept bugging me, was like, why did they want her awake for that then?
Yeah.
Like, if you were to kill your own sister, wouldn't you want to, like, mercifully do it in her sleep?
Yeah, you'd think.
But then so it was really bugging me. But the evidence against Vandene kept stacking, right? As I was thinking about Vandene's history in these books. And I said, I mean, the killer wanted the two to know that it was them that was taking their life. Seems maybe needlessly cruel. But I think Vandene's love for her sister was likely genuine. I mean, they lived together their whole lives. I don't even know if I could do that with my sisters, right? Like, in the same house. It's possible that Vandene might have even joined the Black Aja as some kind of effort to protect Adelius.
Oh, okay.
Like, if you were like, I was thinking of Ingtar at this time, right? Ingtar joined.
Same book, right? Book 2. Yeah.
Ingtar became a dark friend because he was like, we're fucked.
Yeah.
And I want to be on the winning side.
Yeah.
So that I can maybe carve out some kind of peace for myself and the people I love, right? Yeah. Because otherwise I'm just going to get obliterated off the face of the earth with everyone else.
Right.
Well, if you're Vandene, you're probably doing the math. She's an intelligent woman, right? Adelia said she should have been a Brown.
Yes, but she was a Green.
If you're running the odds are fucking against you.
They're not great.
And, like, that's fine if it's just you, but she's got someone she loves more than anything in the game.
Right.
So I said, it's possible Vandene might have even joined the Black Aja, like I said, as some kind of effort to protect Adelius. Let Adelius read her books in bliss while I keep her safe as the world starts to end. Because as a sister, I would fucking do that. Mm-hmm. If I was like, I've got a much younger sister. And if she was just like a bookish sweetheart, right? We just read The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
If Katniss is up there with Prim, and she's like, the world might fucking end around our ears. And I've got this sweet bookish sister that is not doing the math like I'm doing the math.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you be like, let me do the hard shit and make the hard decisions and keep her blissfully ignorant of what I'm doing to keep us alive?
Yeah, not necessarily the right thing, but I can see.
But you could see a world in which I would fucking do that for my sister, potentially, right? So is it a coincidence that Adelius and Vandene came to Eberdar looking for the kin at the same time as all of these other random dark friends? Like, why were they all descending on Eberdar at the same time? There must be a reason, right?
Maybe.
It could be Taviran, but it could be something else.
I think Samael had his crew there looking for the bowl.
Right. But Moghedien had her crew there as well.
Moghedien's kind of out of the... I think Samael inherited her crew.
Okay.
Because she is now in thrall to...
But also, Millie Skane was there. And also, Jacob Carradine was there.
Yeah. Well, Jacob Carradine... Yeah, you're right.
There were a lot of Dark Friends there at the same time.
Yes.
The fucking... What's it called? Came. Was he one of Samael's?
The Golem. That's one of Samael's.
The Golem. Well, who inherited the other Black Tower, or the other White Tower Black Aja?
They're kind of free agents,
Are they?
Think.
Or is Masana doing stuff?
She might. I don't really remember who's currently giving them orders.
That could even have been why she picked the Green Aja, right?
Yeah,
she picked the bat because Adelius says from day one, Vandene should have been a brown.
Yes. From
day one. But Adelius notably picked the battle Aja.
She did.
Why? Did she see coming that that the end of the world could happen at any moment? And she's like, I want to be ready for it, but let my sister live in ignorance. And on top of that, I'm running the numbers in my head. We're gonna lose. So I'm going to be on the winning side with the sister I'm trying to protect.
Okay.
Who doesn't need to get her hands dirty because she's sweet and loves to read, just loves to read. Let her have her library.
Right.
Even though, Adelius insists she would have made a great brown, she needed to be the one who could protect the two of them. I'm just thinking as a sister for a second, because I have a bunch of sisters that I would do anything for. So I'm trying to think what would cause Vandene to kill her own sister. I also think it's notable that compared to Ispen, Adelius got off super lucky. Yeah, that could partially be because she wasn't the target, which is conveniently what Vandene says.
She does say that.
Vandene's like, oh, she had her throat slit and it was fast. She wasn't the target, Ispen was. But what if it was also Mercy?
Could be.
Like, if it were really a sadistic Black Aja like Leandrin and there was time to really dispatch these two, which there was because they couldn't even scream.
They couldn't move, yeah. Would
you have really given Adelius such an easy way out?
I mean, I would argue that,
time,
a different poison would have been the easiest way out.
I get to that in a minute.
Okay.
I get to that in a minute. This was done by someone both of them trusted. They made that really clear. Because that was bugging me, right? Because I was like, why wouldn't she just poison her with something that would just make her fall asleep? Why would she want her to see?
Because she wants to explain.
She wants to explain.
Okay.
She wants to explain to her sister why she's murdering her.
Right. Oh, God, that's awful. Oh,
it is.
Good Lord,
this is devastating. It's fucking awful.
Okay.
If this is true, bravo, Robert. Because that's amazing.
Yeah, that'd be heart-rending.
Heart-wrenching. Horrid. Maybe I'm editorializing. But I think that if Robert Jordan didn't do this, it is Robert Jordan who is wrong. Because this to me was so compelling and interesting as a potential thing. Other than, because I'm like, you know what's not compelling? Haha, I'm so sadistic that I'd kill my own sister. After all of these years of living together, I fucking think not, Robert. Right. Or some random did it, which is not... okay, but I looked at who else could have been there, right? This was done by someone they trusted. They made that really clear. The only ones that would have included is we made a list of the other Aes Sedai that are there.
Hold on. Let me pull up that list. Actually, as I pull up that list, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna jump out for an ad or two, and then we'll be right back. The sisters with Elayne are Marillali, Cariana, Saritha, and Vandene. The named kin with them,
they're irrelevant,
are Alice.
They're irrelevant.
They're all irrelevant.
They're all irrelevant.
Sure?
Yeah. Okay. Because they wouldn't trust him.
Okay.
Because they've been fighting this whole time.
Yeah. But they might let them serve them tea. They wouldn't trust the wind. I didn't list the Windfinders.
They would let them in to see tortured Ispen.
They would let them bring tea, maybe. That seems like a servant task almost. But I don't have to read the name. I don't have to read them.
You can.
Alice, Rihanna, Azra, Zarya, also known as Garinya, and Kirstian.
I just think everyone but Rihanna and Marillali on that list are completely irrelevant to me.
But Rihanna or Vandene? Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, Vandene, obviously, but Rihanna and Marillali on that list.
Yeah, no.
Everyone else has been...
We have almost nothing about them.
Like a nothing character. But Marilyn and Rihanna, there's been attention paid to them. Rihanna is someone I hadn't considered as a suspect. I just think because she it's a lot to go from cowering about the Aes Sedai to killing one.
That, yeah.
And like, yeah, there's probably some dark friends among the kin's ranks too. But like, I think their main thing is they're still afraid of the Aes Sedai.
Probably.
So that's a lot to go from that to that.
Yes.
Marilla was the other one that I thought, okay, it's Marilla. Because I'm like, it could be that Robert Jordan was like, a nothing character killed her and none of this matters. But I'm like, I would like to think that this is more interesting than that. I would like to think that this was more fucking interesting than that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's really good at laying breadcrumbs and plots and things. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, and there might, if you look back, I mean, and then you look at the Drakkar, you're like, oh,
this makes
obviously
sense.
It was fucking Vandene that did it. Like, that would be so interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and you're not going to suspect two sweet old ladies.
No.
And their old man Warder, who's like super jazzed that Lan is there and wants to like go spar with him.
Yeah, probably not.
As like a, for old time's sake kind of shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so the only ones I would include are the list we discussed above. And basically I narrowed it down to Marilla, but Marilla basically has an alibi because she's being beaten by the sea folk.
At all times.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So I don't think she has time to serve tea.
Not really.
What if it wasn't cruelty that made it so that they were kept away?
Awake?
What if Vandene wanted a chance to explain herself and apologize? It's more interesting if she did love her sister and was trying to protect her. But Adelius was smart. She knew her sister well. She was getting too close. Vandene had to kill her.
She was figuring it out.
Because the other thing that was bothering me is why now?
Yeah.
They could have killed Ispen like this entire time.
They've
had Ispen forever. So why kill her now?
Great question. Well, they did get to Camelin, or near Camelin.
But the more convenient time to kill her was on the road when there was a lot of chaos.
Yeah, that's true.
Or during the fucking thing with the scuffle with the Shan-Chan. Why not kill her then?
Yeah, that's fair.
So clearly, whatever was going on, there was a reason why now. There had to be clear why now.
Mm-hmm.
The why now is Adelius figured out that Vandene, like was starting to get onto Vandene. Because Adelius is smart. She understands her sister. She knows her really well. She must have started to be putting the puzzle pieces together.
Sure.
And that's why she had to go.
Brutal.
And she appeared before anyone thought to even find her. And Vandene just shows up and is like, oh, is my sister dead? That's fucking convenient timing.
It is.
Is it not?
It is very
She waited for the bodies to be discovered, goes, and then makes a show of crying for her sister. But the tears, I think, were genuine.
Probably would be,
I think the tears were genuine.
Yeah.
She didn't want to have to kill her sister.
No.
But she felt like she had to. She had to make a choice.
Yeah.
Either, and I get to this, she knew because she did it. And their wails of grief were because she had to face that the one person she'd done all of this to protect was the person she ultimately had to kill in order to keep doing what she's doing. Fuck. If that's true, that's fucking brilliant.
That's devastating.
If any of that pans out, that's gut-wrenching.
So when it came down to brass tacks, she chose herself over her sister.
Because, oh my God, wait, one more thing. Because that's Robert Jordan's thing, right? The bad people will ultimately choose themselves.
Yeah.
Because one more thing. The reason Vandene would want to get kin members is because the tower is going to use them for numbers. Obviously, they'll have to. There aren't enough of them. But that would outnumber the Black Aja by a fuck ton. They cannot let that happen. Vandene is there recruiting from the kin for the Black Aja.
Okay.
Right? She has to. Because otherwise the Black Aja are fucked. They're completely outnumbered. Egwene basically said, come one, come all.
Yeah.
Come join the White Tower. Well, where does that put the fucking Black Aja? On the back foot for sure. She has to go find numbers. Anyway, and the look of determination that she had when she was riding away from where her sister was killed, right? They were all like riding away from where they were.
Yeah. And
she had this look of determination. And at first I was like, fuck yeah, Vandene, get revenge for your sister's death. And then I was like, wait a minute though. So why the look of determination if I think she was the killer? It was the determination of having made a choice in favor of her cause over her sister. Now she's got to be all in.
Yeah, well, if you've sacrificed the thing you were protecting.
Yeah, she cannot back down now after what it cost her. She's the opposite of Jacob Carradine, which is why he died right after Adelius did.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's a very good point.
She did everything she could to protect her sister until she couldn't anymore.
Yep.
She even said, I thought we'd have so many more years together. Even during the apocalypse, You thought you'd have way more years together?
She said, I knew we didn't have... they're old.
But she thought they'd have time. During the apocalypse, though, she thought that they'd have more time.
That's true, yeah. I think they're 270.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the apocalypse.
Yeah.
You know? The good side is probably going to get fucked.
Probably.
What she thought, and I'm gonna explain that, is that they could fuck off into the woods and no one would fucking bother them because she's Black Aja. Into this tiny village that might get untouched. But if not, then she's fucking ready.
Yeah.
Then she's on the side that's going to win.
That makes sense.
If Robert Jordan is exploring all of the different motivations one might have to become a dark friend beyond just pure self-interest and greed and evilness, like he did with Ingtar, why not love?
That makes sense.
Love makes us do abhorrent things all the time.
We just watched The Last of Us.
We just watched The Last of Us, right? I told Gus the other day when we were talking about a TV show we just watched, there's nothing I wouldn't do to keep him safe. And that's a scary thing to know about yourself.
Yeah.
If you fuck with my husband, you're a burnt hole in the ground, right? But those things came into conflict, so Vandene had to make a terrible choice. But she felt she owed it to her sister to tell her why.
Yeah. Hey, sorry, I'm going to kill you because of this. And it hurts me as much as it hurts you. And it's like, no, it doesn't. But okay.
No, it doesn't. But, I mean, wouldn't you want the chance to explain, like, I am doing this because I think it's the right thing to do? Like, I was trying to protect you.
Yeah.
You got too close.
I wish you hadn't figured this out.
I wish we could have just fucked off into that cabin in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. But now that can't happen.
That can't happen.
And there might even be a certain amount of bitterness towards her sister.
You shouldn't have gotten so close.
I did so fucking much for you, and now it's all for nothing.
You couldn't have left well enough alone.
Yeah.
You couldn't have just kept reading your fucking books.
Yeah. And it would also make sense why they wanted to question Ispen together. Because Vandene would want to be there.
Yes.
In case
obviously
Ispen somehow
what if
hinted.
Ispen says something?
Yeah.
But Adelius was getting too close. And Ispen and Vandene needed to end it. Because otherwise, Vandene knows her sister, right? Vandene knows Adelius. Is Adelius going to join her? I think Vandene knew she wouldn't.
And rather than take the risk of her saying no to that choice.
And then probably getting Vandene killed.
Yeah. She said, nope, I got to do what I got to do.
Vandene did what she had to do in her mind.
Ugh.
And chose the cause.
Ugh. Well, as depressing as this is, I hope you're right.
Ispen was a cover. You hope I'm right because...
It's heartbreaking.
Because it's heartbreaking and it's fucking interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most interesting option there is. Right?
Absolutely.
So Ispen was the cover. Adelius was the target. This is going to be... I have 3 theories that I'm really passionate about that I want to be right. This is the 4th.
Oh, you're adding this to the
This
Pantheon?
is my 4th. This is my 4th in the Pantheon.
Can I ask, why not kill Adelius and escape with Ispen?
Because then everyone would know.
Right, because then she get
everyone would have known.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Then her whole purpose for being there would be fucking blown.
Right.
Ispen's collateral. It's actually fucking brilliant if you think about it. No one would ever suspect Vandene of killing her sister.
No, absolutely not.
Ever, right? And if she kills Ispen extra hard, because you could also just poison her in her room, right? But the best thing to do, right, because to bring suspicion off of yourself is to kill Ispen in a way that's so brutal that everyone just assumes maybe a fade came in.
Mm-hmm. Well, a stake through the fucking heart, yeah.
That there was a stake through the fucking heart. Maybe, it must have been a really brutal dark friend, not this sweet old lady.
It's a good way to escape notice, to be under the radar like that.
Brilliant. Also, it dispatches Ispen. Also, she probably would want to dispatch Ispen because Ispen could probably tell her that people things that she doesn't want them to know.
Yeah, well, the ostensible reason that Ispen is dead is that.
It's helpful to kill Ispen.
Is she's going to leak. She's going to break. So we're going to kill her.
Yeah. Why not give 2 birds 1 hug?
Yeah.
All right. So... Because the thing that's tripping me up, I said this, is why now? Why kill Ispen after they've been torturing her all this time? Surely the other Aes Sedai had access to her, but it wasn't because of Ispen. Adelius is getting too close to uncovering the truth, and Vandene had to either fess up or kill her. Also, Vandene would have to deal with the outcome. This way, if you think about it from a selfish perspective, Vandene can kill her sister and never have to deal with the consequences of the betrayal.
Yeah.
She can explain herself, but in her mind, her sister may be understood. She can justify it to herself however she wants. Maybe she can convince herself that Adelius understood her motivations if she can just explain it to her.
Yeah.
Before slitting her throat.
It could provide a level of closure for her, right? Just like because Adelius can't respond either. So Vandene,
notably, Adelius cannot respond.
Vandene can pour all of everything
out,
all of her trauma and grief onto her, and be like, "So you understand why I have to do this?" As a statement.
Yep.
And then kill her.
And never have to deal with the response. Right? Is this not like freaking great? If this, like, it's horrible, but isn't it great storytelling?
Big if true.
Big if true. A house far out in the hills where basically nobody ever goes to hide out the years together. And I said, hoping the apocalypse would pass them by, but Vandene was ready in case it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking like a sister. What would I do in this case if I had a sweet sister that just loved books? At a time where that's the worst thing you can be.
Yeah, it's not good.
Well, and like, I mean, I think the Browns could be potentially totally targets.
Could be, yeah.
Because they're the ones who know everything.
Herod fell.
Yeah. What if they stumble upon something they shouldn't have read? And what if Vandene did that? What if Vandene stumbled upon something that convinced her in her work that they were fucked? Then what do? You do everything it takes to protect the ones you love and just do your best.
It's the tough thing about being a researcher, right? Is sometimes you delve too deep and you find something you shouldn't have found.
Yeah. It was Vandene that summoned that Drakkar. Because just Moraine's presence threatened to drag Adelius into a fight Vandene knew was unwinnable. She had to go. If that's where this storyline is headed, that's so awesome. Like, terrible and gut-wrenching, but wow. Such a support of Robert Jordan's whole thesis.
It does crystallize it quite well, doesn't it?
Well, I also thought about it being Vandene's warder, and he's been a dark friend this whole time. But that would be impossible to hide from her, I think. It's the only other suspect who I think they'd trust implicitly. But it would be interesting to have an Aes Sedai against her own warder. I mean, she'd be forced to kill him, right? If you're forced to kill your own warder, I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
And the third option is that one of the uninteresting Aes Sedai or Marillily did it. And there's some kind of epic battle where the old lady dusts off some powerful stuff, which could be cool. But I'm kind of hoping it's the first option.
Yeah.
But then I also had this thought of like, what if Adelius is the bad sister and that's why Vandene killed her? You know? But would she keep that a secret? Possibly. And then would she kill her sister in Ispen in order to cover it up? Possibly. But then she wouldn't kill Ispen. Would she? Maybe.
Ispen would know, right? And I do think she would probably come clean about it.
Yeah, and it could be a way to, like, you know, preserve her memory or her honor and to hide the shame of it.
Yeah. And then you started thinking about what they
But
read.
That feels off to me, you know? I think there were 1,000 other ways to go about that then. Why not just kill her, period?
Yeah.
Why not just why not just kill her?
It's a good question.
Or tell why not just poison her? And why would she need her to be awake for that then? Maybe to explain, like, I know what you've been up to and I'm killing you. But, like...
That would be hard. That'd be a lot harder.
The puzzle pieces don't fit together as well.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean, it is a very compelling theory you've put together. I'm not going to tell you if you're right, of course.
If I'm not right, it is Robert Jordan who is wrong.
Why? You don't suspect Saritha?
Fuck Saritha. Who? Saritha Franklin? Like, who? I don't know her.
She's another, she's...
No, it's not interesting.
Couldn't be Cariana?
It's not interesting. It's not interesting then. I mean, it could be fun to see, like, an old lady hand someone their ass.
That'd be, yeah, I mean, it would
But
be,
I think this is way more complex and interesting.
Okay. No, I agree with you. I just have to tease you.
I'm like, why else bring Adelius and Vandene back if not to give us this cool, complex, interesting thing?
Ties into his thesis, as you say.
We haven't had stuff as interesting as this in Sanctuary.
Not really. It's been pretty much black and white. You're a dark friend. You're not.
Yeah, we need a little more gray. We need some more gray in here. And I think Adelius and Vandene, like, killing your sister because she got too close after you were doing everything you could to protect her in the apocalypse, that's fucking wild and rad.
Mm-hmm. Do you have more notes?
Probably. Anyway, that's my Adelius and Vandene theory.
I like it. It's
And
sad.
I believe I said from the beginning, I was like, these old ladies might be fucked.
You did.
Right? So, another one in the right column. Okay. Continuing on. She loved Avienda as she loved herself. You know, in a friend way. politely fuck off with that, Robert. This is akin to rolling up and saying, okay, so Elayne comes in and she's like, I'm Elayne Tracan, the daughter of Aaron. I'm like, this is akin to rolling up and saying, I'm Anastasia, the lost princess. Which I think I've made that comparison before, joke. But it's funny every time.
I'm Anastasia Romanoff, forever lost princess, level 12 wizard.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Morghese is like, stop telling everyone I'm dead.
Yeah.
All right. We're taking over Camelin, and maybe Galwin will stop sucking. If, like, maybe he'll get some word that his sister's fucking alive and is queen of Camelin. Wouldn't that be great if he just stopped being a tit?
Wouldn't it just?
Millie Skane has gaslit, gate-kept, and girl-bossed all over the place.
She has.
I fucking love
She is a
Millie
great character.
Skane.
I love her. Horrible. But so good.
I seriously regret not putting her in the Grinwell Cup now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, is she about to drown him in brandy?
Yes. You were like, Jacob Carradine must do something.
We leveled up. We traded up so much in a villain with Jacob Carradine to Millie Skane.
Oh my God,
we have traded up. Like, I cannot help but notice that the women villains are just so much better than the male villains.
They're usually way more competent.
They're just more competent. They're more interesting. They're more dynamic. They are gaslighting, gatekeeping, and girl bossing all over the fucking town. Mm-hmm. And I'm not rooting for them.
No.
But I'm also not rooting for them.
But you love to see them.
But I was like, yes, queen, drown his ass. I was a little like that.
I get it. Well, he's not real.
Well, he's fucking useless.
Yeah.
And again, Adelius dying after her sister has done everything she could to protect her versus the brother who was like, oh, I'll miss my 12 siblings.
It's a good parallel.
While I sat on my ass and did nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
It's the rereadability, if this is true.
Pretty high.
Oh, look. Because everybody says some of the best parts of reading The Wheel of Time is rereading The Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
And catching everything you missed.
Yeah.
Well.
That'd be pretty good.
Well.
Pretty good.
Scholarly fucking essays could be written about the parallels between Vandene and Jacob Carradine, if this is true.
I would agree with that.
That's fucking rad.
May have been written.
Oh.
Don't go looking.
I'm not. Oh.
I'm teasing.
One day, though. One day I'm going to read all of them. Damn! I slammed my computer on the bed so hard the screen bumped the cat a smidge, and Beaker is much offended.
He was.
When she drowned him. Oh, dang. The Aes Sedai is Phalian. So who killed Ispin? Was it Millie? She couldn't do that, right? This was before I came up with my theories. Someone called her thoroughly empowered Millie, and I died. Because, okay, last time we saw her, Jacob Carradine was, like, threatening her, calling her a bug or whatever.
Yes. She was still slightly above him, but, like, that was the chapter called Insects.
And I did not love that.
No. And now she has...
I did,
Brandy bonged him to death.
Fucking loved that.
Yes.
Absolutely, girl. Take your space.
Yes.
Adelius murder suspects. Oh my god. It's Vandene, girl. I was like, Marillily, Cariana, Saritha, Vandene. I'm torn between Marillily and Vandene. I think it's Marillily because Vandene's reaction seemed to be genuine. It was. Just different.
That's it?
Okay.
All right.
That's it.
Chapter 28, Crimson Thorn. What I love about this is that the Elayne chapters go seamlessly from Threads, which ends on page 167, and then it picks up cleanly with Gathering Clouds.
Mm-hmm.
No, not Gathering Clouds, I'm sorry. With Into Andor, which is on page 439 to page 457.
Robert really said Elayne who for most of this book.
And then 3 days later, the first explosion came, and then 160 pages later, it hardly seemed the setting for the explosion Elayne feared. Harlan Bridge was a village of moderate size, with 3 inns and enough houses that no one had to sleep in a hayloft. When Elayne and Brigitte went downstairs to the common room that morning, Mistress Dill, the round innkeeper, smiled warmly and offered as much of a curtsy as her size allowed.
Dill like the baby from Rugrats?
I guess, yeah. So, tell me about this explosion, Allie.
It was a little tiff.
Adelius grabbed Garinia Resinda and was like, I know who this is. Be quiet, child.
This is not Garinia Rosoinde. I finally recognized her. Zarya Alkaze, a novice who ran away just before Vandene and I decided to retire and write our history of the world. She admitted it when I confronted her. I'm surprised Cariana didn't recognize her before this. They were novices together for 2 years. The law is clear, Elayne. Our runaway must be put back in white as soon as possible and kept under strict discipline until she can be returned to the tower for proper punishment.
Adelius, 2 things we've just learned about her, right? Loves the rules.
Yes?
Is really sharp.
Mm-hmm.
She recognized someone from, what, 1 billion years ago?
Probably 70 years ago.
Yeah, all right. So, Vandene killed her.
And Elayne is like, okay. Well, you don't think Garinia killed her as revenge?
Oh, stop. Because she could have. No. Why kill Ispen? Nope. This makes the most sense.
And then Kirstian is like, hey, I also ran away 300 years ago, so if you want to put me back. So this whole thing happens, and
one of them's super old.
Kirstian, yeah, she ran away 300 years ago. And Adelius is like, whoa, well, we would have figured that out eventually. You didn't have to tell us. We're very clever. And Kirstian is like, I know, I figured you would, so that's why I'm just turning myself in.
No, girl, they would not have figured that out. You were scot-free. Why do this?
And then, you remember how Nynaeve spent much of the book telling the kin, like, don't listen to Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
And now the kin are like, well, how about fuck that? Sarainya is like, fuck that. Why should we give them up to the White Tower? We've helped women run away, and rightly so. It's not part of the rules to give them back.
Good point, Sarunyan.
So they argue for a while, and the kinswomen are like, there's like 20 of us, and there's like 3 of them. So fuck it. No, we're not going back.
Yeah,
Fuck
I
all
agree.
of that.
Fuck all of that. I don't gotta do shit.
Alice and Rihanna are like, we will talk about this later. We'll get this sorted out. And then they flounder through the snow for a while.
That was definitely worth calling it an explosion.
Especially when Adelius' death happens immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
Was it on purpose?
That, you know what? Elayne was like, the fight was way more intense for me than the, slaughter of an old lady.
Kirstian rapped at her door and darted in without
and a woman
waiting for
getting
an answer.
Staked in the heart.
Nynaeve Sedai, Elayne Sedai, Lord Lan says you to come at once.
See, but this is interesting because that's the last time we see her alive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really short window, too.
Yeah. No, it's been... And then a week goes by.
Oh.
A full week goes by.
My bad.
Yeah.
He told me to speak to no one, and you aren't to either.
And they're like, whoa, what the fuck? And they tromp on over. Kirstian did not know what Lan wanted, only where she was to lead them. The small hut outside of Cullen's Crossing, where Adelius had taken Ispan the night before. Lan stood outside, his eyes as cold as the air, and would not let Kirstian enter. When Elayne went inside, she saw why. Adelius lay on her side beside an overturned stool, a cup on the rough wooden floor, not far from one outstretched hand. Her eyes stared, and a pool of congealed blood spread out from the deep slash across her throat. Ispan lay on a small cot, staring at the ceiling. Lips drawn back and a rictus bared her teeth, and her bulging eyes seemed full of horror. As well they might have, since a wrist-thick wooden stake stood out from between her breasts. The hammer that had plainly been used to drive it in lay beside the cot, on the edge of a dark stain that ran back under the cot.
Yikes.
And Elayne is like, oh, okay, this is bad.
Do you think an old lady... Well, maybe her warder could do it.
They have the power, she's a green.
That's true. Well said, Gus. You're right. Vandene is the killer.
It's possible.
Thank you for letting me know.
I'm not trying to confirm anything.
I was just thinking, if she's super, super old, that would be...
Yeah, but she's an Aes Sedai.
No, it's true.
They don't get infirm very quickly.
You're right.
So Nynaeve goes to the tea and takes a little tiny bit, and then spits it out. And then, what happened? Vandene asked coolly from the door. Lan moved to bar her way, but she stopped him with a small gesture.
See? She knows.
Elayne started to put an arm around her and received another raised hand to keep her back.
See? She knows.
Vandene's eyes remained on her sister, calm in a face of Aes Sedai serenity. The dead woman on the cot might as well not have existed.
She's not surprised.
When I saw all of you heading this way, I thought, we knew we didn't have many years remaining, but...
Her voice sounded serenity
And her
itself.
first instinct is to justify why she's there.
What have you found, Nynaeve?
And Nynaeve is like,
her first
okay.
instinct. See, this is a thing. You got to look at what liars do.
She does.
Her
She
first
does.
instinct is to justify why she's there because
That's
later
true.
they might wonder why she
That's
showed
true.
up when she did.
They might. What is, so the tea has crimson thorn in it. This is crimson
So
thorn
I don't know
root.
about you. If I saw my sister dead on the floor, my first instinct would not be
To
to
explain why you're there.
explain myself.
Yeah. This is crimson thorn root, she said, trying to sound matter-of-fact and failing. It's sweet, so you might miss it in tea unless you know what it is. Especially if you take a lot of honey. Vandene nodded, never taking her eyes from her sister.
And did she take a lot of honey? That
Adelius
seems like that was the...
developed a taste for sweet tea in Abudar.
And who would have known that? Who would have known that? Fucking Vandene would have known that shit.
A little kills pain, Nynaeve said. This much kills, but slowly. Even a few sips would be enough. They might have remained conscious for hours, not able to move, but aware. Either whoever did this didn't want to risk someone coming too soon with an antidote, not that I know one for a brew this strong, or else they wanted one or the other to know who was killing them. Elayne gasped at the brutality, but Vandene simply nodded. Ispen, I think, since they appear to have taken the most time with her. The white-haired green almost seemed to be thinking aloud, working out a puzzle. Cutting a throat took less time than driving a stake through someone's heart. The calm of her made Elayne's skin crawl.
Yeah, she brings that up as a suggestion.
Adelius would never have accepted anything to drink from someone she didn't know. Not out here with Ispan. Those two facts name her killer in a way. A dark friend and one of our party. One of us.
Adelius didn't really know the kin that well, too.
No.
I think she would have known that the fact that they were interrogating Ispen might make them targets.
Probably.
I think she would only accept stuff from her, like, from the people she was closest to.
Probably. And Vandene asked to be left alone with her sister for a few moments and sat on the floor to cradle Adelius in her arms before they were out of the door. Jaime, Vandene's gnarled old warder, was waiting outside with a shivering Kirstian. Suddenly a wail burst out inside the hut. The full-throated cry of a woman mourning the loss of everything. Nynaeve, of all people, turned to go back, but Lan laid a hand on her arm, and Jaime planted himself before the door with eyes not much warmer than Lan's. There was nothing to do but leave them. Vandene to shriek her pain, and Jaime to guard her in it. And share it, Elayne realized.
That is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, grief is fucked up.
Yes. In this case, that is the right thing to
Yeah.
do. The last 10 funereal miles to Camelin took 2 days in the snow, with even the windfinders decently subdued. Not that they pushed Marillily any less hard. Everyone's doing their best. Vandene looks determined. They get to Camelin, and we're gonna take a real quick ad break. Welcome back. They get to Camelin, and they're like, hey, look, it's us. Elayne is like, I'll make sure I look like shit before I go in, because there's this old saying that, like, if you show up looking hot as shit, you're gonna be in hot shit, or something like that. I don't remember what it is.
I like your version.
Yeah.
Is that a leany thing?
Probably, I don't know.
Leany. Worse than a dark friend.
So she walks to the doors of the palace, and there's maidens there, and there's also guys there with the dragon logo on them, and she goes, I am Elayne Trakand. In the name of House Trakand, by right of descent from Ishara, I have come to claim the Lion Throne of Andor, if the light wills it so. And they let her
I
in.
am Anastasia Nikolai.
And Reenie Harfer is like, holy shit, what the fuck? You're back. Cool, welcome.
Nikolaevna, that's something.
I don't know.
Princess of Genovia.
So, and Elayne is like, all right, before I get dressed, before I get changed into fancy pants, I'm going to go take a look at the throne room. So he goes to the throne room. How's the throne room?
She gets pissed because Rand put a chair there.
It's gone now.
Oh,
It's gone.
not?
He got rid of it.
Then what? She's pissed about something. Can't remember what. But
I
what's her
think-
face is there, right? Or shows up.
Darlin.
Darlin.
I think she's upset because there's dragon banners outside,
Oh, that's it.
and there are dragon banners around.
Because she's like, I look like a Nepo hire.
Yeah, she's like, this
as
is not it, my
opposed
dude.
to, my mom
As
being
opposed to
queen.
getting it from your mother, yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to getting it from my mother, I'm getting it from my boyfriend, which I kind of get. Listen,
Yeah.
I get. like not wanting to look like your boyfriend handed you a throne.
Control the kingdom.
It's,
Yes.
it's not a great note to start on. It makes you kind of lose a little prestige.
Yeah.
So I get it. You know, especially like as a woman, like not wanting a like she slept to the top kind of deal.
Right.
But at the same time, I mean, as opposed to my mommy gave me this job.
Yes. So she walks up to the throne and she puts her hand on it and she goes, "Under the light, I will honor your memory, mother. I will honor the name of Morgaze Tricand and try to bring only honor to House Tricand." And then, "I ordered the guards to keep the curious and the favor seekers away. I suspected you might want to be alone here for a time." She's like, "Hey, Darlin, what's up? Are you on my team or are you trying to kill me? What's the plan? What's the news?"
And Darlin kind of walks her through kind of what Elayne has missed so far.
A little bit. She goes, "I've been hearing it for 2 days that you were alive, but I didn't really believe it until now. You've come to accept the throne from the Dragon Reborn, then?" "I claim the throne by my own right, Darlin, with my own hand. The Lion Throne is no bauble to be accepted from a man." And Darlin is like, "Hell yeah."
yeah, that's what I hoped you'd say.
Right.
Goddamn right.
And she says, "Are you with me or against me?" And Darlin goes, "Since you claim the throne by your own right, there are a few obstacles,
so she'd been
of
like,
course.
my boyfriend's giving me the throne.
Yeah.
Darlin would have been like, well, get fucked.
There have been several claimants already, as you may know. Nian and Elayne I have securely locked up on a charge of treason that most people seem willing to accept, for the time being. Elayne's husband is still active for her, though quietly, and Aramilla
I would hope so.
has announced a claim, the silly goose. She's getting support of a kind, but nothing that need worry you. Your real worries, aside from Aiel all over the city waiting for the Dragon Reborn to come back, are Aemlyn, Erethel, and Pelivar. For the moment...
Arafel, there's another Arafel.
Erethel,
Oh,
yes.
come on,
For the
Bobby.
moment, Luan and Elorian will be behind you, but they might go over to those three. And Elayne is like, "All right, okay, we've got our players on the board. We're gonna do some chess now. You are suggesting that these 5 houses might unite against me, but like, behind whom?"
Some other lady.
Smiling, Darlin propped her chin in her hand. "They seem to think I should have the throne."
Oh, I was going to say me, but then I wussed out because Darlin said no.
She doesn't want it.
Yeah.
Now what do you...
She's looking at her like this. It's me.
Yeah. "Now what do you intend about the Dragon Reborn? He hasn't been back here in some time, but he can't pop out of the air, it seems." Elayne squeezed her eyes shut for a moment, but when she opened them, she was still sitting on the steps of the dais in the Grand Hall, and Darlin was still smiling at her. Her brother fought for Elida, and her half-brother was a White Cloak. She'd filled the palace with women who might turn on one another at any moment, not to mention the fact that one was a Dark Friend, maybe even Black Aja, and the strongest threat she faced in claiming the throne, a very strong one, stood behind a woman who said she supported Elayne. The world was quite mad. She might as well add her bit. "I mean to bond him my warder. I also hope to marry him. Those things have nothing to do with the Lion Throne, however. The very first thing I intend..." And Darlin starts laughing, and Elayne is like, either she's laughing because she's like, holy shit, Elayne has her shit together, or she's laughing because she's like, holy shit, I can absolutely brush her under the rug and take the throne myself.
I think it's both.
And then we switch to David
Well,
Hanlon.
I think she starts laughing because she's like, I'm going to bond the Dragon Reborn as my warder.
And also marry him.
Don't
worry about it,
Anyway, my next thing that I'm going to do
Now
after
let's
that.
talk about strawberries.
Now let's talk about
The harvest.
the harvest.
So we switched to David Hanlon. Do you remember this guy?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he's the guy that they're sicking on Elayne. Is that right?
Yes. So...
He's creepy, and
He's
Min was like,
creepy
whoa,
and-
he's a bad vibe, McGee.
Min looked at him and like forgot her whole thing of don't tell people about viewings because she was like, oh my god, don't let anyone get close to that guy. That guy is the worst. That guy is heinously anus.
Okay, here's my thing. Where was Min when I was in college? Like, honestly, girl, where were you?
So now we're in his head, which is great. And he's like, I wish I could loot this city. Looting is so fun. Anyway, so he goes to the Red Bull because he needs wings. And he goes in And he's like, who's this lady Cheyenne I'm supposed to meet in this creepy-ass basement? And why are there, like, 2 people with their heads through this table? And who is this lady?
That's Millie fucking Skane to you, thoroughly empowered Millie.
And he's colossally creepy about everyone, and I don't want to dwell on that for too long, because this guy sucks. And he realizes that one of the people at the table is an Aes Sedai, and he, like, grabs at his sword, and Millie Skane goes, so you have some brains? I asked the great Master Moradin to send me a man with brains. Poor Jacob here has very few. And he's like, who the fuck is... Whatever. It's fine. Gideon ordered me to be here, but whatever.
Okay, so she serves Moradin.
Poor Jacob here failed very badly, Cheyenne said, smiling like a fox looking at a chicken. Moradin wishes him punished. Poor Jacob does like his brandy.
And a big dude comes
I'm
up.
gonna be real. Jacob got off really easy.
He did. A big dude comes up with a keg of brandy and a funnel, and he stuffs the funnel in Jacob Carradin's mouth, and then he drowns him with brandy. What a way to go out. This is a hell of a scene, man. And she goes...
It feels very reminiscent of A Crown for a King in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I think so.
I think poor Jacob's finally had enough brandy,
Cheyenne said, and laughed in delight. And Hanlon is like, yeah, I mean, fuck that guy. I don't know anything about him, but I'm sure this was meaningful to an outside observer. It means nothing to me.
As an outside observer, it was meaningful. Very, very much so.
And then Phalion swears obeisance, and offers to crawl like a worm, and...
Oh, this is the one who tortures cats, right?
No, that's, maybe...
Yeah, Phalion's the cat one.
And Marilyn Gamalfin is the one who likes cats?
Or is it the
opposite? Or is
opposite?
Marilyn Gamalfin the one who tortures... One of them tortures cats.
Okay. Find out.
And Cheyenne is like, how do I know you're going to work for me and not suck? And then they gag her, and then she's like...
and he's like smiling. The David or whatever is smiling at it.
Yeah, and I hate so fucking much about how this end part is worded. She goes, tell me, Hanlon, how would you like to put your hands on a queen? He's like, ha, that'll be great. So I hate
he licks
this guy.
his lips. If he licks his lips, he's a bad guy. That's what we're learning from Robert Jordan.
That's what we're learning from... Thumbing your earlobe? Totally fine.
Thumbing your earlobe? Coy.
Yeah.
Cute. Adorable. Humming at women? Which is
apparently fine. Apparently
fine.
Totally good.
Licking your lips? We've gone
Bad.
too far. Which, you know what? Licking your lips is too far.
It's weird.
It's objectively creepy.
It is. I don't like it.
Very creepy.
Yeah.
Now, what are you doing?
Yeah. So
Like,
that's...
licking your lips ever is just like a creepy thing to do.
It is. That's the end of chapter 28. And we're gonna stop there. We're gonna do the rest of the finale another time. And what a next few chapters it is.
Oh, it's going to be explosive.
Yes. Thanks for listening, everyone. We have social media if you want to know what we've got going on. Just link down below. We also have a Patreon if you want to support us that way. It's patreon.com/wheeltakes. And you can always leave us a rating and a review, which helps a lot. Other than that, anything else, Sally?
Van D's nuts. Am I right?
Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you again for listening. This was Wheel Takes with Ali and Gus. Music by Alexander Nakarada.